Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. It doesn't matter what time of day you've joined us here. Thank you once again for joining us here from the Batcave. I'm your host, as always, Adam Gerard, and joining me on this quest into the Caped Crusader are my loyal companions, the Honourable Terry O'Neill.
Hey, hey.
And the ever-vigilant Brad Ahern.
Bat fans.
And this week... we're talking Batman Returns. Wow. How taking aside what felt like 19 days it took to watch Batman Returns.
Yeah.
How have you guys been this week?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Not too bad at all.
Yeah. Busy as usual, but yeah, getting through it.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff.
I'm actually a little bit
I think
exhausted.
we're all dead from Batman.
I'm actually a little exhausted from watching that movie.
My heart is dead from watching
I
that
was. I had to go back and watch it again because I fell asleep the first time.
That's the most ringing dedication of a film.
Yeah, basically.
Oh man, I as I was watching it, I said to Terry I was prepared to rage quit at one point. I was out.
The last 30 minutes, especially for me, it just got stupid.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that. We're going to then in the main event. We don't want to get, as I like to say, balls deep too early.
Yeah.
It's
got to lead up to that.
Oh, exactly. It's foreplay first.
That's it.
So I guess if we're finished talking about our weeks, which obviously sounded scintillating since we all got so deep into them, shall we move on to our first segment this week?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it, man.
Oh, man. You guys ready? You ready? Something exciting this week.
My name is Oliver Queen. After 5 years in hell, I have come home with only one goal: to save my city. To the rest of Starling City, I am someone else. I am something else.
My name is Barry Allen, and I am the fastest man alive. A friend recently gave me the idea for a new name, and something tells me it's gonna catch on.
James Gordon, Alfred Pennyworth. We're gonna get the guy that did this, sir.
New boy, are you?
You'd say.
Good luck, mate.
There you go, new intro. Didn't even have to get prompted by Terry for that one.
Beautiful. It's about time you learnt.
Editing. I also did it live, so I don't actually have to edit anything. It's a little tip there for the fans of how dedicated I am to this craft. Well, that means it's this week in TV. What'd you guys like to start with?
Well, I think we should take cue from the intro and start with Arrow. And it's also alphabetic, so we'll go with Arrow.
Alphabetic. I like it. Well, kicking it over to you then, Braden. Why don't you take us through this week's Arrow?
All right. So this week we had episode 6 this week, wasn't it?
Yep. I believe it was.
Yep, it was.
So the title of this week's episode was called Guilty. We opened up with... sorry, let me just look at my notes here. I've forgotten where I'm at.
How
There's the professionalism.
there we go.
It's good, isn't it?
Really well. New intros, fluids. Can't even go 5 minutes.
Letting the team down.
All right. All right, so we started the episode opening with Roy having a flashback of himself killing Sarah, which is where we left off at the end of last episode as well. And from there, we jump back into Arrow and Arsenal. They come across a warehouse with a bunch of dead gang members and a heap of heroin. They don't really know what's going on. And there's a big message written on the ground in blood saying guilty. So from there, Oliver sends Roy home because he's pretty distracted, says take the night off until you get your head back in the game. We then go into a Hong Kong flashback where Oliver and Maceo, I believe his name is, they're waiting for a courier.
You mean Asian guy?
Yeah, the Asian guy.
Yeah, cool. Just making sure I know who you're talking about because remember, I don't know names. Race only, that's how I see the world.
That's how we work, isn't it?
Yeah, apparently.
So they're waiting for a courier. Oliver spots him, follows him, chases him down, catches him, and they can't find the envelope they're looking for. Maceo, or Asian guy, he says, "You did see where he's dropped it, you just don't remember." From there we see Ted and Laurel training, and then they go off to dinner. When they return from dinner, they find a dead body in his gym, and Arrow is there as well. I'm a bit mixed up here. Sorry, guys.
No, you're right. I'll give it to you. This week had a lot of shit happen.
It's a lot of...
Yeah, everything is jumping back and forward between timelines. Like, I've sort of taken note as it happened, and it goes, Ted and Laura went to dinner, and then that was it. And that part of the timeline. He jumped somewhere else. And so Roy's gone and asked Felicity to do a blood test because he's worried about Mirakuru still being back in his system. Yep. And that was it to jump to something else from there.
Yeah, that was right. From there, it jumped to Ollie back in the past remembering, didn't it?
Yeah,
no, I didn't quite get there. It's gone to... he's looking for a lead with Felicity's help, gets a name and a place. Then he goes... he heads to where he's looking to find the dead man with the same guilty message. That's when Ted and Laurel turn up. That's at the gym. Mm-hmm. Felicity confirms to Roy that he's got no Mirakuru in his system. Roy then tells Felicity he was having Mirakuru memories and remembers killing Sarah. The police have arrived at the murder scene at the gym. Laurel is giving a statement to Lance. She then leaves and goes to talk to Arrow. She tells him that Ted is innocent and someone's trying to send a message. And then we jump back into Hong Kong, where Ollie's trying to remember where the envelope was stashed. Asian lady, or Akio, I believe her name is.
Yep, who will play an important part
comes
later
in
on.
and says she'll help him. Sorry?
I said she'll play an important part much later on in the story.
Is that because you know her name, or...?
I know who she... Yeah, if I know a character's name, they're obviously important enough for me to care about.
Yep.
Well, they've actually said that they were going to put her in the series, so...
Well, she's part of the Birds of Prey.
Yeah,
Canary leads, so...
Isn't her sword supposed to be like magic or something?
Yeah. I think it'll just be an indestructible sword, I would imagine.
Yeah.
I just remember reading something about it a while back.
Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to break up the show. They continue.
No, you're right. Good for him, yeah. Where am I?
Ollie had just gone back in time and...
No, yeah, just gone back in time. Then Akio comes in, says she'll help him remember. Mm-hmm. Then we jump back to the present, and they're in the Arrow Cave, or whatever you want to call it. The quiver. So they're talking about, I guess, the case they're working on at the moment, and still suspecting Ted, or Wildcat. Ollie tracks and follows Ted to his storage locker, where Ted attacks him and they have a fight. And I'm sure we all jizzed when we seen it, but the boxing glove arrow...
That was brilliant.
Fantastic.
I did love how...
Oh, man.
It actually kind of made sense. It kind of tied in.
It was perfect.
Yeah, it was good.
He just punched him in the face with an arrow. It's fantastic.
Finish your recap, because my pants aren't going to contain this much longer.
So they found another body there. They stop fighting. They start talking. Ted says he's been set up, doesn't know who that person is. Goes on to tell Arrow that he was once a vigilante, as we know him as Wildcat.
Yep.
Doesn't know who's setting him up. Aaron mentions about how Ted beat a drug dealer to death six years before.
Yep.
Then we jump to Roy and Diggle are about to come and give back up to Arrow. Just before they leave, Felicity stops Roy to show him some forensic evidence, saying that it was in fact him because the wounds weren't consistent with a normal bow, but with someone who had
someone shorter.
Mirakuru.
Wasn't I thought it was somebody's height?
Yeah, it was the height, and the arrows were thrown.
Oh, they were thrown.
They were thrown.
I thought it said that the wounds weren't consistent with the force that a bow could sort of provide. It had to have been something that...
Yeah, but there were two things. She picked up that the projectiles travelled faster than a bow could fire them, but they also were fired from an angle that didn't make sense for a traditional heighted archer. Yeah. But it made sense for Roy because he is, compared to everybody else in that show, he's the wee man.
Yeah.
So
from there, he just sort of feels that he's, I guess, even more guilty than before. Then Ted and Arrow have gone to the place where they were being led to by the person who was actually doing the murders. The man in the mask starts shooting at him. Police arrive and arrest Ted. Arrow and the masked man flee. Roy tells Oliver, Diggle, and Laurie that he killed Sarah. Laurel says it doesn't make any sense, which I agree. Roy leaves. Oliver tells Laurel to focus on the current case and tells her to find out from Ted who it was that attacked him. Then we jump back to Hong Kong again. This is where Akio was helping Oliver remember by using meditation. Then we jump over to Lance interrogating Ted. Laurel comes in. She's talking to him and finds out the man who the man in the mask his name is Isaac Stansler. And then goes on to say that he was actually the one who beat the drug dealer to death 10 years before, and he'd cut him loose, told him to leave Starling and never return. They leave the police station, and Stansel stops Laurel and Ted in the alley and takes them for a drive. Laurel calls Felicity to alert them. Arrow, Arsenal, and Diggle then give chase. Arsenal fights Stansler. Stansler tells him that Arrow will abandon him as soon as he does something wrong. He beats Stansler and says to Arrow, Don't abandon me, to which he replies, never.
Bullshit. Yeah. If anyone knows the story...
Till you turn to drugs, fucker.
Yeah.
Shoot up first.
Yeah.
Junk hair.
So Arrow goes to Ted in his gym, tells him to stay away from Laurel. Oliver says to Roy that they should call him Arsenal. Roy's prepared to leave because of Sarah's murder. Oliver says he'll help him remember what happened with meditation, which is the same meditation that he learned from Akio. Roy then remembers that it was actually a police officer he killed while overdosed with Mirakuru.
Yep, that's right.
Roy says he needs to be alone for a while. In Hong Kong, Oliver finds the message. They find a hidden message within it, and it says, Contact Lee Kuan Hui. I think that's how you pronounce it. Something Asian.
Foy.
Yeah,
there
whatever it is. That's pretty. And then at the end of it, we got Stansler being escorted away by 2 police officers who were shot down by arrows, and a woman who was revealed and introduces herself as Cupid.
Yeah.
And that is the end of the episode.
Dun dun dun.
Well, let's get into the round table on this one. Let's start with the obvious. Dat boxing glove arrow. Perfect. Now,
Yes.
People who have not been to my house might not realise this. I actually have a glass case here in my office I'm looking at right now that has a nice...
a good 19-inch.
Yeah, good 19-inch, fully posable figure of Green Arrow. And in his hand is his bow, and I, of course, have loaded in the boxing glove arrow in there because it is my favourite arrow. So, yeah, I cannot point out how just... I thought when they finally did it, it would be stupid. It wasn't.
It actually flowed really
No,
nice.
It made so much sense and was such... And even the knockout of it was so perfect.
Yeah.
It's just brilliant.
It was just final blow, and then that was it, fight over.
Yeah, exactly.
Done.
Perfect.
You're kind of humiliated if you're a professional fighter, you get knocked out with a boxing glove on the end of an arrow. So
Doesn't matter. It's perfect.
you just got to lie down. You just got to,
Just
you know,
perfect.
I'm done. You know, it's getting to that point. It flowed nicely and it didn't seem corny or cheesy.
Yeah, and I really like the fact that they were at the heroin bust because that it shows they're not afraid to show those harder drugs, which means they are obviously going to lead to where we're going. You know,
Yes.
there's a lot of foreshadowing in this. Like I said, the bullshit of Ollie's, you know, I won't leave
Yeah.
you. Yeah, you will.
Yeah.
You'll kick him out of your life as soon as he junkies up because it's you either become a hero or you choose your heroin one way or the other, but you're not fighting with me while you're high.
There was part of me that was kind of scared that they were going to go, oh no, we're not doing the heroin junkie thing because he already did the Mirakuru thing. It's like, no. Yeah, there was a part of me thinking they're going to do that, but hopefully with this lead-in...
It seems pretty clear that that's...
Especially being the death of a cop, not
Yeah.
Sarah. I mean, if it was Sarah, he could probably actually reconcile that, going, oh, you know what, she was an assassin anyway. If it's a cop... It's
Yeah,
just like,
exactly.
it's a little bit
I think
heavier.
it's going to take him down some pretty dark places.
It's going to be good. It'd be good and might lead him to Bloodhaven, and we all know who is in Bloodhaven.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
that's true. There were parts of this episode, though, that that did leave me stumped. I mean, I know who Cupid is, but I'm not entirely sure how she fits in the bigger story in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, I was kind of dumbfounded.
I guess that's the point. She has only appeared for 3 seconds. But this is the other thing.
Actually, she was in throughout the episode, if you have a look.
Yeah, in the back.
Was
In the
she?
background, she's like, she's in about 4 or 5 scenes, but it's normally with the crowd, and you'll see her walking sort of almost in the foreground of the crowd.
Yeah, right.
So if you pick up on it,
I didn't see that one.
problem that I have...
She's in next episode, though.
She better be, because
she
the
will
problem
be.
I have is
She
that
is.
they otherwise they're going down the same route of here's Ra's al Ghul. We won't see him again for 5 episodes.
Yeah.
We'll introduce
Yeah.
somebody else to them. We won't see them again for 5 episodes.
Yep. Yep.
That's
And
that's
then the last 10 episodes of the season
it's
culminates
everybody
in
all
this,
together. Yeah,
everyone just culminates in this beautiful stew of what the fuck.
but still, but yeah, I guess I find it really weird that archers only come to one town.
Yeah.
I mean, metahumans all go to not Star City, or metahumans
Central.
all go to Central City.
Yep.
And if you've got a bow and arrow, you come to Star City.
Or Bloodhaven.
You come
Komodo.
from you go into Bloodhaven to kill.
Yeah, or get a beer.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you don't actually go to Bloodhaven.
Yeah, this is true.
To fire arrows.
You go there for hookers and booze.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, Sky City or Vegas or...
Yes, I think that's exactly like Vegas. It's an arrow-free zone in Vegas.
That's it.
I don't really know what much else to say about this episode, barring it was a good episode, but to me it feels like one of those episodes where we had to clear Roy of this killing, but all we're really doing is just setting up for an episode down the future.
I don't even like that they sort of threw that in there, that they thought that it was a possibility that he could have killed him, because as soon as that came up, I was just like, "Oh shit, he didn't do it."
Yeah.
Don't even bother going through
I did
all
like the
this
fact,
because
though,
we
that-
all know we didn't do it.
That Laurel and Ollie didn't explode. They were like, Laurel reacted accordingly, but not. I thought she was going to
Yeah.
fucking beat him and shit. And the fact that Ollie was just
She's like, "It doesn't make sense," and I'm sitting there going, "Yeah, I know. That's why we didn't do it."
You got to remember, a series like Arrow isn't written for pure fans. Like,
Well, it's the CW drama. It has drama elements in
yeah,
it.
it has drama
Yeah.
elements in it, but you got to remember, there's a lot of people out there who don't follow Green Arrow and DC and all that sort of that heavily. So for
Yeah.
them, that would have been huge. So
Oh, yeah.
if you look at the wider aspect of the,
Oh, I agree.
I mean-
I agree with. I can see both of your points on it. It's stupid to think that Roy would do it, but the Mirakuru does at least give you the out for believability.
yeah, absolutely.
I think what it was, I guess what it was more to do was give Roy a reason to snap, because now, like you say, he's killed a cop, he's got a reason to get really depressed.
Yeah.
But it also, it shows us that Ollie has changed, because 2 years ago, Roy would have been pinned down to the ground with an arrow almost sticking in his eye, as he was, what happened to me?
Yeah.
Now he's
Yeah.
like, Roy, let's have a beer, a conversation.
We need to have a
Are
conversation.
you old enough to drink, Roy? I don't know, you're pretty small.
I mean,
Okay,
Stephen Amell is Canadian, so it'd probably be a light Canadian beer. So that's probably why this Arrow is so nice. Actually, he's Canadian.
He's Canadian,
That's
yeah.
it. Yeah.
You have failed this city. Would you like a donut?
Would you like to do it with some maple syrup?
Could you perhaps maybe not fail it in the future?
Just try harder next time.
You're doing all right otherwise, though. Nice haircut.
Good going, kid. You hipster-looking, pale-faced nerd. Oh, go back to modelling diesel jeans.
That wasn't Stephen Hamill. That was.
That's Roy. That's what he's saying too.
That's
Roy.
right.
Oh, I see. Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I understand. This is the conversation. He's like, don't be so depressed. You're a model once.
Yeah, you're with
I
Felicity.
read
Shut up.
Today he's actually dating Felicity.
Yep.
Yep. Emily.
In real life, I didn't realise that.
Yeah, no, I was going through the Facebook page because I decided, I like the character Roy. I'll have a look, and he's got no choice but to pout. His face automatically goes to pout. As soon as you put any sort of camera in front of him, pout, bam. Like, there was like a post-workout selfie. No sweat, looked like a model. Click, pout. So it's just ridiculous. That's my only real beef with Roy at the moment. He's the quasi-hipster.
I
He's the
will-
hipster every other hipster aspires to be.
I will say I have noticed something this season. There's been it's going to change next season. That's why. Next week. That's why I bring it up. But
Okay.
very, very, very severe lack of shirtless men this season.
There is, it's true.
But until next week, when Ray Palmer does the salmon ladder.
Oh, does he?
Yep.
Are you serious, does
Yep.
he? Oh my
Yeah.
really? Why is
Yep.
he doing salmon ladders?
Because
Probably Felicity will be in the vicinity. So.
keep up that Superman physique, yo.
Yeah.
I mean, surely Brendan Roth's pretty.
Yeah.
How old is he now?
I don't know. It's Superman.
No, that's what I'm
He's getting
saying.
on.
Like, he's pretty.
He's gotta be getting on.
He is Superman. He hasn't aged a day since Superman Returns. Since Chuck, I haven't seen him age a day.
No, but I mean, you say that, but
Then also-
Robert Downey Jr. and Christian Bale can put on muscle in their like 40s and 50s. Shit, Batista's like nearly 50, and look at the size of him.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, Hulk Hogan's 190, and the man looks like he's made of granite still.
Yeah, still slightly saggy over tanned granite, but you know,
That's all right.
Yeah.
Granite, nonetheless. Granite is granite, brother.
brother.
all right. Well, yeah, any other thoughts on
Just
fun?
before we move on, I just want to ask: am I the only one who's sort of getting a little bit? I don't know. This season is not as good as last season.
It's not ramping
Nothing's
up.
happened yet.
It's not ramping as fast.
It's
as the other
because
two
we got we got shown who the ultimate villain. It's clear who the ultimate villain this season is.
Yeah.
And we've seen him
Yeah.
for all of 15 seconds. And the problem is when you reveal something like that,
Yep.
at least what I brought up in the episode as well, it's like you reveal something like that and then you just don't do anything with it. There's slow burn and then there's
Annoying.
insane.
Yeah.
Like Gotham is slow burn, where at least we're seeing these characters, and whilst it might be pissing me off that we don't have a Ridley yet, we don't have a Penguin yet, at least there's progression there.
Yeah,
but
it's a slow burn progression.
Yeah, and at least you still see them.
Yeah.
But to drop a
Yeah.
character and be like, here's the big bad guy. Like at least Slade was
And then-
there for 8 months of story.
He was there for like 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was there for 2 seasons, but
Yeah,
not
he was.
as.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like
Deathstroke.
he you get the first half of season 1 where he's on the island with Oliver. The kind of maybe the first quarter of season 2, you get that story too. Then he kind of disappears until he comes back in the modern storyline
Yeah.
as
As
Deathstroke.
Yeah.
And that's what's missing this season is there's no.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Every episode feels like it's just this constant. We're pushing towards making Roy a heroin addict and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But there's nothing really like they wrapped everything up so neatly that this season there's nothing to really explode with,
Yeah.
except for
There's
Merlin.
There's no decent ramping
Yeah.
to a story. I get that.
But I've even read a brief plot summary of the crossover episodes, and they don't really seem all that. Like, I'm a little bit bored.
Really?
Yeah, I just.
You sound
I
upset.
was thinking because I was expecting something massive from these crossover episodes. You know, Flash versus Arrow. And
thing is-
I'm thinking, it's going to be awesome. They're going to lead up to something there. There's going to be a massive conflict,
It is
and
just
then
part one. I'm willing to bet that's just part like this is crossover 1, so it's the testing the waters to make people
See if
realize
people-
it's a
yeah.
special event, and then you start doing.
Then you start ramping.
Like you may find, like I've mentioned in the past, they may turn it into something Buffy and Angel. Where, for instance, if you look at the last season of Buffy, it didn't totally tie in with Angel, but because there was so much heavy duty shit happening in that season,
Yeah.
it did filter into select episode of Angel and back and forth.
yeah,
It could be the same thing that happens here, where one or the other has such a big storyline that it has to bleed into
Okay.
each other. That
well, from what I've read, that's not the case.
Oh.
well, at least not for this one. It may be coming. That's what I mean. This might just be
Yeah.
the taste test to get us there.
Yep.
So I just, I don't know. I think I said probably episode 1 or 2 of our podcast that I hope that season 2 wasn't sort of the peak of how good it was going to be.
Yeah.
And so
Although with
far,
that said, the other
that's
reason as
come
well. You went. Did you watch when we did the Arrow retrospective? Did you just do a quick YouTube thing, or did you actually go back and watch all of season 1?
through. No, I did a quick YouTube.
Okay, because season 1, the first 10 episodes
Very slow.
are slow, and that's what we're getting through here. They tied up season 1 and 2 are one big story. That's tied up, so now we've got
Yeah.
the initial 10 episodes where we've got to sort everything out for the next, the back half of this season. Then all of next season is going to be started here in these. That's
Yeah.
what we're starting now, and that's where I guess the problem is, like you say, nothing carried over except for Malcolm Merlin. Nothing carried into this season, so we have to start afresh, and that's where the problem is. If they carried over a villain or something,
Yeah.
at least you'd still have a bit of a chase to tie 2 seasons together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't.
Well, yeah.
Oh, hopefully, because I love this show and I don't want to be bored by it. That's for sure.
I'm sure it'll pick up towards the back end.
Yeah.
And then plus the other thing as well, I think that if I'm not mistaken, the creators of this are also the creators of Flash, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
So I
Yeah.
imagine at the moment that because Flash seems to be the strongest show at present, they might be writing
It's probably
a
'cause
certain
it's-
way,
I would say because it's new and shiny.
and they've got their focus on it. But they might also, you never know. We don't know. They haven't announced any episode titles or anything for the back half of either season.
The very
The back half, I'm talking like
16,
17,
yeah.
17 to 24.
yeah, they have, yeah.
That's where you're going to find, if there's going to be crossovers, that's the peak crossover territory.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
one episode coming up for Flash, and I'll bring it up in a minute. The title of it made me foam at the mouth a little bit. It's
Yeah.
coming December 9th.
Okay,
I'm just
cool.
Very excited.
Looking forward to that. Looking
Yeah.
forward to hearing about that.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of which, should we move on to Flash?
Sounds good.
All right, kick it off, Terry.
All right, guys. This was episode 5 of the Flash, called Plastique. So this basically largely focused on Barry and Iris's relationship and how their dynamic works. That was a large back plot, I'd say. So pretty much starts off with a brief, I'd say about 2 minutes segue from what happened 2 weeks ago, because the American elections were more important than my episode of Flash, which is disappointing. So then we go to an office building, young woman in there stealing files.
It's just you can't steal files.
You can't steal files. You're shaking your head. I'm going, oh god, if I missed something in my notes already.
I was just disgusted. What kind of an employee?
Oh, yeah, that's true. Anyway, she's stealing files. Security card comes along. So, stop. What are you doing? She turns around, looks at him, goes, quick, run, throws a backpack, and it blows up. Anyway, from that, there's about a 2-minute section where we see Barry, Cisco, Caitlin, Iris, and Eddie all at the bar.
Yep.
Having some shots. Eddie's owning the dartboard with bullseyes and all that sort of stuff. Barry walks up to Cisco and says, "We have a problem. You know, I can't get drunk." Caitlin's like, "Oh my god, that'll be high metabolism."
Caitlin's got a problem that what's his name isn't in her pants.
Yeah, no, right.
Whew.
That's mentioned. But it's discovered that Caitlin carries a blood test kit with her at all times.
Everybody's got their hobby.
And that's exactly the line. Very nice quote. And we decided that Cisco's that guy at the bar who always wants to get more shots for any reason. He runs to the bar just happy as can be to supply shots.
He's got friends for the first time in his life.
This is true. Anyway, while Cisco's off getting shots, Eddie gets a call saying there's been an explosion, and he's going to go, babe, blah, 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 see you later. Then the typical, no one else knows that I'm a superhero thing happens. Oh, I have to go too. Oh, I have to go too. Yeah, it's getting late. So they all leave the bar at the same time. Next minute, Barry's running really, really light.
Fast?
Slow, actually, no.
What?
He's getting to the building, gets to the building. Cisco and Caitlin are at the lab. He says, oh no, they're still at the bar, even though they had to go because it got late. Asks him how fast he has to go to get up the building, up the side. Caitlin says, just run as fast as you can, but on the way down, just keep the same velocity or you go splat. Runs up, catches the guy who's in a window washing, I don't know, what would you call it? Crane, yeah. Catches him, brings back down, he gets to the ground, and there's Iris. So he does the blurred face thing, smirks at her, and runs past. Just check my notes.
Hey, you're on track
Yeah,
so
that's
far.
right. I'm on
I'm
track.
glad I'm not the only one.
Yeah, nice. Anyway,
Unprofessional bastards.
sorry. Anyway, get to the police station. Joe West, or as you like to call him,
Black Lance.
there you go, is there chatting away to one of his mates, and he notices the army's in the captain's office.
Yep.
Says, what the hell's going on here? Turns out the army is taking over the investigation. So they're told, hand over all their stuff to the army. They get what they want. It's the army. Barry hands over his little box of goodies to one of the soldiers, and quick as a flash, oh my god, pulls out one of the files. I'm going to throw as many puns in here as I can. Hands over a file to Joe. Joe goes, take it to Star Labs, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Yeah, so Joe then gets spoken to by one of the cops who was at the crime scene with the explosion. Says, by the way, your daughter was at the crime scene. Joe then has I believe it's Joe, has a talk to Iris first about the block.
Yeah, he talks to Iris. And
Says,
then-
look, it doesn't exist, don't do it, blah, blah, blah. She goes, I'm an independent woman.
I saw him.
We don't need no man.
Yeah, you don't need no man, I just need the flash or the streak. Either way, it kind of sounds perverted, streak, flash, it's kind of weird.
It's because I have a theory on the whole streak thing. I'll get to in a minute, but I have a theory on why it's called the streak.
Oh, okay, cool. Anyway, oh my god, I'm lost.
Fucking hell. I went to all the trouble of doing this thing so I wouldn't have to edit it. And you two scumbags are making me have to edit so much shit. I'm leaving this in just to prove the kind of shit I have to put up with and why I'm always cranky.
You're always cranky because you don't get enough sleep. That's what that is.
I don't get enough Adam West. That's what I don't get.
Don't get enough sleep. It's not like he's doing any editing. You should get plenty of sleep.
Who's the troll now? Oh, good lord.
Fuckers.
Anyway, Cisco does his whole computer biz, hacks into the army files magically, finds an alias.
He's got them Felicity skills, yo.
He does. He's basically Arrow's Felicity. It's kind of weird how they mirror each other and then flip.
You're right.
It's almost like
I'm
they're
oddly
written by the
attracted to
same.
both of them as well. I think it's the brain.
I was actually talking to this guy at work a little while ago, and his one complaint about The Flash, the show,
Yep.
was that he didn't feel that Iris was attractive enough.
He's got Caitlin. What's his complaint?
Yeah, this is true.
Holy
He's
shit.
like the love interest, you know? The love interest is just...
Yeah, it's true.
He didn't
You mean
find her
female
attractive.
Black Lance?
Anyway, they track
Black
down.
Laurel.
They track down the alias, and it turns out it is the girl who blew up the building, the floor of the building. Her name's Bet Sansuzi. Turns out she's ex-army, EOD. I don't know what that stands for. And Anyway, Flash catches up to her, has a quick chat. She touches the suit. She says, "Run, get rid of the suit." Gets rid of the suit blows up. Barry goes back to Star Labs, says she's a metahuman, she can make things blow up on contact. So, couple little itty-bitty scenes in between. I don't think that's the interview scene, that's kind of mimics Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blurs his voice night. He does awesome voice box thing.
The voice box thing. So, yeah, Barry ends up doing a quick interview with Iris as the Flash. If you
Streak.
Oh, as a streak. If you notice the way it's actually laid out, it's very Lois and Superman. I think it's Superman 1.
Superman the movie.
Yeah, Superman the movie. Yeah, Superman 1. Is it 1 or 2?
1. Superman the movie, yeah.
So it actually mimics that Lois and Clark dynamic hugely. So, which is actually really nice. So I thought that was a nice little homage to the one true Superman, Christopher Reeve. Would we agree on that?
Well, they've got to pay homage to that Superman because the other Superman is already in this universe as a different character.
Yeah, it's true. That is true. It could be Dean Cain as well.
Oh, Dean Cain. I miss you as Superman.
So they have a quick interview, a bit back and forth, saying, "No, don't do it. Don't do the blog anymore, please. No, I'm doing it for Barry." And then he's like, "Oh, okay, you're doing it for me." Runs off. Go back to Star Labs, and they've got Bet Sansuki, also known as Plastique. After Barry has rescued her from the doctor's office, she went to confront the doctor, who she believed is the cause of all her problems.
Yeah, he believed that she experimented on her and turned her into a freak.
Yeah. And in that time, she was shot by the army with like a little tracker.
Mm-hmm.
So the armies have rocked up at the Star Labs. I'm all over the shop, I think, at this point in time.
No, you're doing fine. You are, as much as these episodes jump, you guys are following the chronological story.
Okay, cool. So she's been shot with the tracer. Army have rocked up to Star Labs.
Yep.
And that's where we really discover the dynamic between Harrison Wells and General Eiling.
Yep.
Eiling, I'm pronouncing that right? Eiling. Yep. So while that's happening, Cisco...
See, I know that name. It's important.
Yeah, I actually did some research. Okay, cool. So, meanwhile, Plastique, Caitlin, and Cisco, while he's pining over Plastique, they're testing her abilities out in the field, and she's throwing a frisbee, blows up. He's like, that's where he comes up with the name Plastique, and he's all happy that he got it in the one go.
Yeah.
So she's known as Plastique from that point on. So, and then we swap back to Star Labs while Harrison and the General are going, like, verbally dueling with each other. We actually start
threatening each other pretty heavily as well.
Pretty much. I mean, but it's in that very psychological...
What's the army passive-aggressive threat?
It's basically passive. It's passive-aggressive as you can get. So you get a bit of the feeling of their past where they work together.
Yep.
It's revealed that Harrison's vision for their work together was for genetic therapies for people, whereas that's the feeling you got.
Good. No, it's so good.
Huh?
So good.
Yeah. Whereas
this week I got a boxing glove arrow and I got this.
Yeah.
Come on.
And the Generals was very much more heinous military hopes for the research being genetic and telepathic for interrogation and things like that.
Interrogation and intelligence gathering, I believe he was after.
That's it. That's the one. And it's actually revealed a little bit later in the episode how they were doing that.
Oh, God, he's flipping pages.
I can hear you flipping the pages.
I actually tried to do as in-depth as I possibly could, but I realised I've gone too in-depth. I'm like,
I think I did the same thing.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'll show you next how it's done.
It'll just be page and page. Anyway, the most important scene is the next sort of Star Lab scene between Harrison and Plastique, where, it's basically discovered that they can't actually help her really because it's on a cellular level and the technology to actually fix her isn't invented yet.
Yeah, what just to jump back, because you talked about you didn't know what the OED...
Yep, EOD, yep.
Yeah, she's an explosive ordnance officer.
That's
so she goes in and basically the guys are going to detonate the mines.
That's right.
And what she was talking about was that when she was doing that, she got hit by shrapnel, and that's what's fused with her system. That she got hit with shrapnel, which entered her system, and then when the reactor exploded, it fused with her system, giving her the power of basically all the bombs she's detonated since then, but because it has fused with her DNA.
Yeah.
And I love that line of Wells where he's like, the technology hasn't been invented yet.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I was just like, yeah, I bet you fucking know when it's invented, though. But yeah, that's why they can't get it out of it, because it's fused at the DNA level.
So. Yeah. So they've had that conversation. Bet's gone out for a little while. Barry and Harrison Wells have had a conversation where she can't really join us. She's too dangerous and too
Volatile.
volatile. That's the word. And we can't really put her in the pipeline because she's not exactly a bad guy. She's not. This is like a sort of. She's in a bad
Well,
bad way.
she can't control it, but she's
she's
not.
dangerous.
She's not the metahumans that wants to blow up the world.
Exactly. So Barry goes away, presumably to pine over Iris. The next important scene is that conversation between Harrison and Plastique, where Harrison's turned around and said, "Look, the general's going to try and go after you no matter what. He's not.
He will always
he
keep
will
coming.
always keep coming. There is only one way to stop him. That's to kill him. Convinces Plastique to go kill him.
Yeah, basically, she convinces him her to suicide herself.
Yeah, pretty much. That's just how that is.
And so
Yeah.
she goes to do that.
Yeah,
and
she
Eileen
goes to do
turns
that.
up.
Yeah, so next scene would be is Plastique sitting there about to surrender herself to the general. General says he's too smart for that. And basically, before the general's about to do anything, the flash rocks up. Plastique throws out those little marbles.
Yeah,
makes
she
them-
detonates marbles.
detonates
to make
marbles,
them-
blows them up. Flash rocks up, convinces her not to do it. Next minute, the general's pulled out a gun.
Yeah, Eileen shoots her.
Eileen shoots her. She's dead. All the guys pass out. Flash doesn't know what to do. She's about to go volatile and just explode. She's about to blow up big enough to level the city, so the Flash runs on water.
Yep.
Very Jesus-like.
They actually make mention of that.
Yeah,
as
they
well.
actually do. He's in very
Select
good
company.
Select company. That's the one. Runs out to the ocean, dumps her, and he keeps running, and then she explodes. Massive explosion.
Yep.
Runs back.
Runs back and Eileen takes note of that
Yeah,
with quite a nice gleam in his eye.
Yeah, that he
New
might have found
metahuman
another one.
that he can get.
Yep, that's it. Next poignant scene is Barry and Iris have a chat at the house.
Mm-hmm.
And Barry basically says, look, you need to stop the blog. You know, I'm over what happened to my parents, which is a big fat lie.
Yeah.
What you're doing is digging up a lot of memories for me. I can't handle it. She calls his bluff on it.
Mm-hmm.
Says, I'm not going to stop until you give me the legitimate reason why. And he basically he puts a halt on the friendship until she
Yep.
stops. And that's pretty much where we left off
Yep.
with that main story. Then we get our atypical CW drama network.
Gee, somebody just drove through Braden's house.
Yeah, no, that's what it sounded like.
What was that?
It sounded like
Somebody
someone
just drove through your house.
There was a car that drove past. I didn't think it would be that.
It's very loud. It's very loud.
You just dropped out for a second there, though.
Oh.
Oh,
Well-
jeez.
Okay, fine. Then we get the 5-year CW network flashback between Harrison when he could stand and General Eiling. And they're having a chat back and forth, going, this is not what I envisioned, you know, what we're done, throw paper at chairs, Eiling leaves. Harrison then walks out of his office, walks up to a cage. We see a furry arm, so it's
Best moment of the series.
we see the gorilla standing there, and he goes, don't worry, that's all over. I have bigger plans for you. And it pans out, the label on the cage is Grodd. So we will get Grodd the gorilla.
Yeah! I cheered. I legitimately cheered so fucking loudly in my house when he came on screen. I lost my shit because I was so happy.
Yeah.
So happy. Now, if I can just interject, I think you missed one scene, only one.
Okay.
And that was between Detective West and Barry, where he basically calls it Detective Black Lance and Barry, where he calls him on his bullshit and is like, "When are you just going to admit that you love my daughter?"
That's right.
And
yeah.
he's like, "What are you talking about? Is that
That's-
obvious?"
that's
He's
right.
like,
Everyone but her.
"Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. That's the other
It's
one.
obvious to everybody but her." So, but yeah, I love this episode so much. I mean, I got
it's
Grodd,
yeah,
which is
Grodd.
all I've been wanting since that pilot episode, since they showed me that cage.
Broken out cage.
I've been wanting to see just a glimpse of Grodd. I'm
Yeah.
happy. I don't care if he doesn't come till episode 24. I know it's coming and it's going to look fucking awesome.
Well, you're going to like what happens on December 9th.
That is Grodd.
No.
Oh,
It's actually called The Man in the Yellow Suit.
Reverse Flash.
Ooh.
Reverse Flash. Here we come.
Yeah. So I'm still thinking,
Eobard Thor.
Actually, I remember seeing photos of that a fight scene between them a little while ago.
Yeah, he's got
which
a
looked
black
pretty cool.
and yellow suit.
yeah.
But you couldn't quite see who it was under the suit. Though.
Yeah.
Nah, it's not Wells though. I know that much.
It's not Wells. My money's
Yeah,
still on
it can't be
Eddie
Wells.
because his background still hasn't been.
Well, Eddie Thorne is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
His
the
doc-
character's name for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So you know, I loved this episode. I really did. As much as Braden's talking about how the arrow might be getting flat this season, Flash isn't. Flash is picking
No.
up really nicely.
I mean, what's nice about the Flash is, I mean, I've been thinking about these shows that we review a lot, and I think that what it is with the Flash is that it kind of allows you to go back to the day when you were a kid and you first saw mutants and superheroes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Whereas Arrow and Gotham are very set in a very, I'm using air quotations here, gritty, real world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A dude with a bow and arrow, you can imagine that. A dude who's, well, Gotham at the moment is just about cops and robbers basically at the moment,
Yeah.
with psychotic Penguin and Riddler who's about to come out. So the Flash ramped up so fast and getting so much,
I like what you did there.
yeah, ramped up so fast and got so much support because it allows full-grown adults,
Yeah.
being like 3 people who do a podcast, to actually delve back into that childlike
In a room
sort of-
filled with wrestling figures.
and Green Arrow, yeah, and all that sort of stuff. But I think that's why I get so excited about Flash, because I get to see superheroes with weird,
Yeah.
freaky abilities, whereas Arrow is a lot of the drama.
A
And,
dude.
Yeah,
Yeah, I get what you mean.
yeah,
The sorry, just to bring this back up. The reason I think as well that he's called the Streak,
yeah.
it would make more sense with his speed and stuff for him to be called the Blur, but they already had that on Smallville, which is also on the same network, so they're not gonna. That's my opinion of why he's called the Streak, not the Blur.
Didn't they call him the Red Blue Blur?
Towards
On
the end, but
Smallville?
they called him the Blur when he was just in black in season 9 or whatever it was, and then he started to change his color a little bit as he got
Yeah.
less emo.
Yeah.
But I just the thing I don't understand is in the intro, like as you heard when I played it at the start of this segment,
Yeah.
Barry says, "I got a new name and I think it's going to stick on."
That was the other one. 2 more episodes. It's called Introducing the Flash.
About fucking time.
Yeah. Well, look, you can't go straight into, hey, I'm the Flash, first episode. You can't. You've got to ramp up to it. I mean, we had Arrow.
Yeah, you can. If you get given an if somebody
Okay.
I had a character, if I was a superhero and I didn't have a name and Batman came into town and was like, "You should call yourself Red Thunder," I wouldn't be like, "I'm going to wait 6 months and call myself that." I'd be like, people are like, "What's your name?" Red Thunder.
Oh, good lord.
I'm never calling myself Red Thunder. That is the shittiest of superhero names.
Call yourself Ginger Nut. The Ginger Nut strikes again.
The ginger nut comes for you at night.
Or daytime, whatever really works for you.
or whenever you're free, you know.
Yeah, if you got a free 10
I'm
minutes.
Canadian. I'll just come whenever you.
I'll bring maple syrup and popcorn.
I'll hold the door. Don't worry. Timmy Hortons donut. Yeah, I mean, I guess the problem that I'm finding with at least with these 2 shows, is because they are written by the same writers. They follow a very similar formula, and they are both. We're getting Arrow, the introduction to the new chapter, and obviously the start of the Flash. So they're both very similar in where they are in their story.
In styling, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, in terms of point of the narrative, well, it's just we've had a chapter of Arrow already. They're just on equal footing, and I think that's where it feels kind of weird, and Flash feels better because at least Flash is new,
Yeah, that's it.
whereas Arrow, we know what we should expect,
Yeah.
and we're stuck waiting for them to get back into that.
That's the funny thing. I am still willing to wait for Arrow, like, because every
Oh,
episode,
absolutely.
it's actually like, coming back from, like, a script writing perspective, they're always really well written.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I never get mentally drained like tonight with Batman Returns. I got mentally drained. I did. And with Arrow, I could watch a whole season of Arrow and I'm not mentally drained. I probably feel a little bit ashamed of myself because I haven't left my chair for like 4 hours straight. But I'm never mentally
A whole
drained.
season, did you say?
No. If I could watch a whole season, right?
Yeah.
In one sitting, right? Bathroom breaks, I probably wouldn't move for 3 to 4 hours. So that's probably the only...
Oh, I see, in blocks, right.
Yeah,
I was going to
in
say
blocks.
3 to 4 hours. Are you watching it on like 30 speed?
Yeah, possibly. But no, I'd feel a little bit ashamed because I haven't moved for 3-4 hours. But I don't get mentally drained. The script writing is always solid and always quality.
Yeah.
So, like, there's dialogue in there that you think, wow, that's probably from a seasoned writer. And
Yeah,
it's just-
definitely.
it flows beautifully. And that's why I constantly...
I will give them
enjoy
that they don't feel like comic books.
Yeah.
They don't feel like farce, but they also don't feel like TV shows.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
They're that healthy...
Medium.
Yeah, healthy medium between all three, really.
Yeah.
I mean, they're willing to take the piss out of themselves sometimes, which is good.
Oh, yeah.
Like the boxing glove arrow, they didn't have to put in there, but they obviously did it for like the people with
fans.
ginger beards. Yeah,
Yeah, they did it for me.
they did it for the ginger.
Same way
beards.
they were like, Gorilla Grodd, what a shit character.
Let's
They
put it in.
for me.
Yeah.
And like I said, I exploded, so I think people down the street thought I was having a heart attack or something. I was yelling so loud.
Yeah, or first
I
time
was
getting laid in
pumped.
6 months.
It's true.
It's true. It's true.
All right.
Here's an interesting fact for you. You know how they're doing a Supergirl series?
No.
No.
So, they're doing a Supergirl series. It's not done by CW. It's not CW, but the
Not
same people who cast Arrow and Flash are doing the casting for Supergirl.
It doesn't mean anything.
Doesn't mean anything. You can have.
Yeah, but
You can, because all that means in terms of casting is that they're going out and collecting, say, 20 headshots,
Blondes. All blondes.
whatever. Well, they need all the cast. They're not just like, I don't think it's just Supergirl in front of a camera for 90 minutes being like, "Hi, I'm Supergirl." I imagine there's other people.
Yeah, true.
So they've got to get all those, I guess, actors lined up, and then they just submit them to the producer, the director, and the network, and they choose from that. So the casting, all they're doing is just going, here's 20 people.
Yeah.
Here's 20 blondes with B cups, I guess.
C. You want to go C?
Supergirl's not that big. That's Power Girl you're thinking of. Power Girl's got the big titties. Supergirl's quite moderate.
That's true.
And Wonder Woman's pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
But that's because she's Amazonian.
This is actually quite interesting. Like the casting of Wonder Woman for the Superman Batman movie.
Gal Gadot.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. That is the same girl from the Fast and Furious series, isn't it?
yes, I think so. I believe it is.
I wonder. I don't know. Breast-wise, she may not fill out the role correctly.
I imagine not. But
CG.
No,
CG
they'll pad up the suit. I mean, what's his name? What's the guy? Michael Shannon, who played Zod in Man of Steel.
Yeah.
He's not buff,
Yeah.
but he looks comparable to Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill
Is huge.
is huge, but he's not as buff as he looks in the suit because
No,
even
true.
his suit is padded.
Oh, okay.
Same with Affleck. Affleck's bat suit is still reinforced and padded.
Don't
a
make
little
me
bit.
cry. I'm holding high hopes for Affleck.
Oh,
He looks big.
As I've maintained, Affleck will be the best Batman.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, he's big. He's
Yeah.
he's big. He's Batman shape, but they're still going to reinforce and pad that suit a little bit more, so he
Okay.
still looks
Bigger.
bigger in the suit than he does out of the suit.
Okay. Cool. All right. That's my only concern.
Yeah,
I'm mainly concerned about Wonder Woman's breasts in the upcoming movie. That's it.
that's
That's
what
right.
I'm concerned about because apart
Yeah.
from Jesse Eisenberg, the rest of it should be pretty good.
Oh, I want to believe in Jesse Eisenberg.
Well, they've only just recently confirmed that he's actually going to shave his head.
What? How
They've
can
only
you not
just
play?
recently confirmed that. So.
Because if you, in theory, Lex does have hair. If you read the Superboy comics, he doesn't.
Yeah.
But if you go Superman, Lex does have hair, then loses it. Then when he dies and puts himself into another body who is then passed off as his son, this is during the Doomsday brought back. He then comes back and gives himself a full head of long red hair and a big beard, and he actually kind of looks like what his dad, like Lionel Luthor looked in Smallville.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like that.
Yep.
And then because the body started failing him, he started injecting himself with the kryptonite solution again, and all of his hair fell out. It was brilliant. So they just
Yeah.
brought him back.
Okay.
Well, is that it for Flash? We move on to Gotham.
Yeah, I mean,
Sounds good.
solid. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean,
I enjoyed non-stop.
Oh, God, Grodd.
I
So
did some
happy.
research with Grodd, and I really hope they're not probably going to do it, but then what's the other one? There's Grodd, and there's starts with an S. Yeah, you know where I'm at.
Yeah.
You know where I'm
I
at.
don't.
There's Gorilla Grodd, who's essentially the bad one.
Yeah.
Is it
And-
Simeon?
No, it's almost like Solomon. Or
It might be-
Solov or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's the good
Detective Chimp.
one. Maybe. But yeah, it's got to do with like Gorilla City and the new. He appears a lot in the Teen Titans,
Yeah.
and he appeared in the 1995 Batman animated series voiced by Kevin Conroy.
Wow.
Yeah, so he appeared a lot in that. So I did some research into Grodd.
Yeah, Grodd, I know a lot of Grodd's backstory, but with this, I'm willing to take a step back because they've never done a character like this on TV.
And let them go, especially
In
with
one
the
of these.
introduction of General Eiling as
Yeah,
well.
and
with,
I'm fine if he's not, like, they talk about they want telepathic. Grodd's meant to be telepathic. Like, they've
He has
set
to
up
be.
they've set up so many of the cards, but
It's how you-
if he doesn't speak, I'm fine if Grodd doesn't speak, but he communicates telepathically, so you can hear what he's saying,
Yeah.
even if his mouth doesn't move and
Yeah,
stuff.
that's fine.
I'm fine with all that because
Yep.
they're like just the idea that they're prepared to do this sort of a character.
Yeah, that's
they're embracing this.
It's a very big one.
Arrow and Flash and Gotham as well. These three shows are just taking these characters and this comic book lore and just embracing it so fully in a way that we haven't seen in so long. Like
I think
in
they're
a
not
way that we're
scared
going
to
to
do
talk
it.
about Batman Returns that they didn't.
Yeah, basically, I think it's gotten to the point where they realise there are more comic book fans and out there.
Well, I think it's got to
And
the time where the fans of the comic books are now the writers.
Yeah.
They've grown up with it.
True.
They've gone to college.
Yep.
They've learnt their skill, and now they're writing what they love.
Yeah.
What do you like? If you get somebody to write about something they love, it's going to be infinitesimally better than if you
Tim
have
Burton.
to. Yeah, it's going to be so much better than having to talk about Batman Returns.
Yeah.
Go back and listen to 66 Batman and compare that to how much I'm going to hate this film that we're
Yeah.
going to talk about today, and you'll see a fundamental difference.
Oh, wait till you hear some of the things that are going to come out of my mouth. you'll actually play them back to me later. Go, remember this, Terry?
It is.
Remember? It is.
It is.
It is.
All right, well, we'll move on to Gotham now, and I'll show you boys how you do a recap.
Yeah, whatever.
What, with a big screen with lots of writing on it, with points that you didn't write? That's fine. Yeah,
Just
we'll
because
do
I
it.
prepared. Fuck you. The episode opens with a man stumbling through a closed office. By the way, this episode was called Mask. The episode opens with a man
The
stumbling
wrong is called The Mask. Ha, noob.
Goddamn scrub lord.
Alright, a man was stumbling through a closed office with flickering lights, wearing a ski mask, dressed in a suit. He's nervous and makes his way between cubicles, and then we see why somebody jumps out and the two start fighting, basically brawling to the death until eventually the second man pulls the arm off a giant paper cutter and hacks the man to death, first man to death. Anyway, the next morning we end up down at the docks where Harvey, Jim and Edward Nigma are looking over the body that was dumped last night of our buddy who just got hacked up. Nigma says the time of death was around midnight, but the body has definitely been moved, and then goes on to find a finger in the man's mouth that presumably belongs to the person he was fighting. Meanwhile, across town, Penguin stops a wealthy woman walking down the street and admires her dog before asking her if he can have her brooch, and then basically telling her to give him the fucking brooch. Which she does, I assume. We never see her again, so who knows what the hell he did. Yeah. So, he takes the brooch and brings it to Fish, where they play nice, but eventually Fish grows tired of Penguin's shit, takes the pin from the centre of the brooch and stabs it through his hand, and threatens to kill him just as soon as Falcone is out of the way. Penguin calmly leaves and says, "Send my respects to Don Falcone," and gets out of there. Now, Bruce arrives at school. Alfred tells him that homeschooling isn't an option and he has to go to school to be around other kids, so he needs to stop being such a little bitch. Back at the police station, the murdered victim's mother comes to see the police and tells him that her son worked at a coffee shop but was actually in line for an interview in a job in finance. We cut to Essen's office where Bullock tells her that Gordon won't work with other cops now because they've all betrayed him, and none of them want to do anything for Gordon because they don't trust him. She says that he'll either have to get over it or leave. Back at his mother's house, Penguin brings the brooch to his mother instead of giving it to Fish, and she asks him about his injured hand, and things get a little creepy and weird as per usual.
Yeah.
Gordon and Bullock head to a black market doctor who is operating on a man with a gunshot wound. They ask him if they know about a man who's missing a thumb, and at first he denies it, then relents as Jim find evidence of the same printer toner in his operating room as they found with the corpse. The doctor gives them a business card for Sionis Finance, and Jim arrests the doctor anyway. At the police department, all the other cops are upset that Jim is playing hardball, and even Bullock asks him to reconsider, but Jim says that he won't. At the office building from earlier, where three men are all dressed identically to the killer from earlier, they're all in cages, and a man in a suit with a grotesque Chinese-looking mask comes in, and when they ask when they'll be allowed out, he says it's up to them. At the morgue, Nigma starts his autopsy, giving all sorts of comical points, and finding a thumbtack in the man. He continues this work until the actual coroner comes in and tells Nigma to get the hell out. At school, Bruce is sitting alone by a fountain when some girls walk by, and he has a nice smile and hello, because he's still Bruce Wayne after all, and he likes the ladies.
And he likes the swag.
And then a pair of boys come over, one of them is Tommy Elliott, and they ask about his parents' murder, which Tommy is oddly fascinated with.
Yeah.
And Bruce says he doesn't want to talk about it, and then gets and walks away. At a nearby church, Fish meets up with her secret weapon, Liza, who tells her that nothing much has changed. She's still cleaning and cooking for Falcone, and Fish tells her to copy the ledger out of his locked drawer. She also wants him poisoned and gives Liza a drug to slip to him. Bullock and Gordon make their way to Sionis Finance, where all of the men in the office show signs of having been in fights. Richard Sionis greets them and denies knowing the man who was killed. When Bullock asks him about his warrior fetish, the resultant conversation pushes him into an adversarial conversation about the nature of real and metaphorical war. Gordon tells him he knows he's responsible for the death and he'll be back when he proves it. Back in the office space below, Gordon finds a trail of blood and follows it into the bathroom where he finds the man with the missing thumb. Now, back at the school, Bruce is being harassed by Tommy and his pair of buddies even further, and when he attempts to slap Tommy for making comments about his mother, the boys jump Bruce instead. Penguin's people then brings in Timothy, who has Fisher's replacement for the Penguin in her right-hand circle, and hangs him upside down and begins to question him, and when he won't answer, they just beat the piss out of him. At the police station, Gordon and Bullock convince the man with the missing thumb to admit what's been going on and the part of the Zionist hiring process where they have to fight it out for a job. Just as he's about to sign a confidentiality agreement, his lawyer walks in and says that his victim will be signing nothing and that nothing will go any further. At that moment, Edward Nigma comes in with an analysis and reminds that all of the previous murders have been done in a similar fashion. Now, at this point, Alfred goes to pick up Bruce and sees that he's hurt, which obviously affects Alfred very heavily. Gordon and Bullock split up to find the office building, trying to search different locations, and as soon as Harvey is gone, Jim's phone rings. It's Barbara wanting to check in, and when Jim's too busy to talk, she hangs up and starts eyeing the booze because she's just a dirty, dirty, dirty pain in his arse. Meanwhile, back at Falcone's, Lisa drugs the tea and she's almost caught by one of her men. And at an abounding building owned by Zionist, Gordon makes his way inside to find the men in cages. Before he can free them, he's tased unconscious by Zionist. A group of police officers intercept Selena Kyle, who is shoplifting for a number of furs from a high-end store, and drag her back to police headquarters. I bring that up because I have a feeling that will become important in later episodes. Alfred brings Bruce to Tommy Elliot's house, presenting him with his father's watch. Now, instead of playing this clip, instead of summarising this bit to you, I've grabbed this clip, and I'm going to play it now because my words can't do justice for just how good this moment with Bruce and Alfred was. So I'm just going to play this now before I get back in to my recap.
This is your father's watch. Don't you lose it now. Tommy Elliott's house. Don't you be scared.
I'm not. I'm visualizing what I'm going to do.
Because if you didn't want to do this, there's no shame in it.
There would be immense shame in it.
What the hell are you doing here?
We have unfinished business.
Listen, if you think you're gonna tell my parents...
Are you crazy? I was talking about... Master Bruce! Point well made, I think. You're all right, mate. Any broken bones?
He tried to kill me.
That's right. He did. He tried to kill you. Just you remember that next time you see him. And you remember... Now, I let him try. Now, let's get some ice on those knuckles. What do you fancy for your dinner?
Pizza.
Pizza? Superb choice, Master Bruce.
I enjoyed it. Enjoyed hurting him.
Of course you did. He deserved it.
I'm so angry all the time. Will it ever go away?
That I don't know.
Alfred? Can you teach me how to fight?
Yes. Master Bruce. Yes, I can.
All right, now, back in the office building, Zionist wakes Gordon up and puts him in the middle of the three men, telling them whoever kills Gordon wins, gets the job, and $1 million. They all rush at Gordon, and elsewhere in Zionist's lair, a group of absolute misfits watch on a TV screen and cheer. Back at the police station, when nobody will help Bullock find Gordon, he berates every officer in the room. When Captain Essen offers to pitch in, it guilts every other police officer into finally pulling their fingers out and acting like an actual police department. Back at the office building, Gordon is holding his own against the three men. with the crowd getting in on the other end of it, he knocks all of them out, so Sionis enters the fray with a sword wearing his mask. He asks Gordon where the other cops are, and Gordon says he doesn't need any backup. Sionis jumps at Gordon with a sword, but Gordon finds one of the paper cutters from earlier and fences with Sionis for a while until he's briefly disarmed. He overtakes Sionis but does not kill him, and is quickly joined by Essen and a beat cop who takes Sionis in after he tries again to kill Jim. Back at Fish's club, Lisa arrives and tells Fish that she wants out, that Falcone is going to find out, and then asks her if it's really worth all this trouble. Fish says it isn't, but it is, for her, because she grew up in poverty with a prostitute mother, one of whom Falcone's men actually killed because he was dissatisfied with the service that her mother gave. She pledged that day that she would never again be powerless. Lisa provides her with a piece of paper, the numbers from the ledger, and Fish says it's a thread that she can pull to make the Don come undone. She tells Lisa that she won't let anything happen to her and makes her say she believes her, then kisses her on the cheek. Back at Penguin's, Timothy is now hanging upside down, and the Penguin gets him to admit that Fish has someone close to Falcone, and then tells his people no one can find the body because it will cause a war, so dispose of it properly. At the PD, Gordon thanks Bullock for having his back and tells him he's not going to stop fighting for the city and that he's going to get Falcone, the mayor, and all the dirty cops eventually. Back at Fish's club, an old woman who has been singing for her earlier approaches the bar, and of course it's Fish's mother who gives her a slat lecture, to which Fish basically says, "Go away, old woman." Jim calls Barbara, but she doesn't take the call, instead leaving the apartment where she's left a note for him, and he tells the answering machine that everything will be fine soon. Finally, Alvarez approaches Gordon and tells him that Selena has been brought in for shoplifting and wants to see her, and Gordon goes to see her. And then back at the manor, we get that last moment that I played for you just before, where Bruce asks Alfred if he'll teach him how to fight, and Alfred says yes. This episode was sensational. I pass it over to you gentlemen now for your opinions.
I couldn't agree more with you. It was sensational. Yeah, you get to see Black Mask in it. Well, I know it wasn't actually Black Mask, but
it's a nice foreshadow though, because it gave Roman Sionis a reason to take up his dad's mantle.
Did we actually see Roman in that episode?
No, Roman wasn't in it, but I imagine he has to be a kid about Bruce's age.
Yeah. You know, I think that's really funny because we're actually talking about kids and stuff like this episode. Tommy being Hush.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I as soon as I saw Tommy, he's got that pathological, weird ass look about him.
Yeah. Well,
and I wanted him to be Hush.
The great thing that I loved about Tommy's character was in the Hush comic books, they actually show you Bruce and Tommy as kids.
Yeah.
And when Bruce's parents die, that's how Tommy acts, because he wishes his parents were dead and he actively tries to kill his parents. And it's before Bruce's parents die, he tries to kill his parents and Thomas Wayne actually saves them.
Ah.
And so Tommy blames Bruce and his father for everything and is really happy when the Waynes die.
Yeah.
And it actually leads to a rift between the two, and that basically leads into why Tommy becomes Hush, because
they've got a pretty big rift going on now.
Yeah.
Getting your ass whooped on your front porch.
But yeah, just brilliant. Alfred continues to just...
Yeah.
Oh,
see, in the beginning
so
I didn't
good.
like Alfred all that much.
Yeah,
but now he's very much growing on me.
He's amazing.
I like how he's
fucking good Alfred.
He's brilliant. I like the how Cockney he is, but he's still very polite.
Yeah.
So I'm getting that Michael Caine Cockney sort of attitude, but I've also got the Alfred from the earlier Batman. Michael Go. I get that as well in it. So I'm getting both best of both worlds. He's actually becoming my favourite.
Yeah, it's like in that scene that you just played, and he's going, and you remember I was going to let him do it, and then when he says he wants pizza for him, he's like, "Superb choice, Master Bruce."
Yeah.
Well, he's always so supportive of Bruce.
Yeah.
Which I love,
Yeah.
and I love that whole the moment he makes Alfred so proud when he starts fighting back, and then when Bruce is like, "I want to learn to fight," the look in Alfred's eyes of like, "You just became a man."
Yeah. It's very cool. I mean, the episode on whole was a filler episode, but at the same time gave us a lot of answers and a lot of cues for next episodes.
And the thing that I don't mind about this, as opposed to say other episodes where at least it wasn't Black Mask.
Yeah.
It was a Black Mask.
I got excited,
but it wasn't Black Mask, and it sets well for why is Roman going to have this obsession with masks and all the other stuff? C's already there.
Because if I'm wrong, tell me. Black Mask, his actual mask was carved out of his own coffin or something like that.
Coffin.
His mother's coffin, that's right.
It's the ebony of his mother's coffin.
That's the one. I was always sort of curious about his mask, because I knew, as soon as I saw the Chinese and how detailed that mask was, I knew it wasn't Black Mask, because it's a handmade mask.
Yeah, well, Black Mask looks like a skull as well. It's basically a burnt skull to hide his burnt face.
That's it. That's the one.
So,
There's a lot of character development, I think, in this as well, with pretty much all of them. You know, you've got Nigma even doing more stupid, crazy shit.
I actually really enjoyed watching him in the autopsy room, hey?
Yeah, it was great.
And then his whole, like, he goes to point out something that's really smart, and the guy doesn't want to hear it, so he's like, well, fuck you then.
Yeah. I'll just leave you, oaf. What's he called? A fumbling
Dullard.
oaf.
Doesn't he? You can call him a dullard or something?
A dullhead or...
It's great. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I like how clever Nigma is. He's brilliant.
Yeah. Well, Nigma is smarter than everybody else in the room. It's,
Yeah.
Yep.
Except for what gets theoretically.
And no one sees it.
Yeah, exactly right. But yeah.
There was also Bullock when he was trying to get all the cops to help him out.
And he fired up.
Yeah.
He did. That was really good. I think
Did you
that
call
was
me an asshat? Yes, I did.
How about
that was,
cover
that
for
was
your
sort of a
wife
huge
anymore,
step
huh?
to sort of the cleaning up Gotham process as well. I
Yeah,
think.
and it did, like I said, the episode with Dan Hedaya in it that
You just
Harvey
like saying the
Bullock-
name Dan.
I love Dan Hedaya, but that Harvey Bullock was on his road to redemption.
Yeah.
I really feel that now because that moment of like, fuck y'all, start acting like police.
Yeah.
Coming from Harvey Bullock, who in
Of
episode
all
1 is
people.
like, I don't want to work. Stop interrupting my lunch.
Yeah.
Where's my coffee?
It's lunchtime, man. Come on.
Of course I'm drinking. It's 10 a.m. Shut up.
What was it the redemption episode where Harvey rocked up at Jim's house with that really big woman?
No, that was the one after it, wasn't it? That was the one where they were going to arrest Falcone and
Yeah, that's the
the
one.
mayor.
It's all right.
There's little things like that with Bullock. It just makes me laugh, especially now that this road to recovery is
Redemption.
on. Redemption, recovery. He's probably have to go.
Oh, he's got rehab, yeah.
He's going to go through rehab as well.
Oh, God. This show
It's
is
just gonna-
great.
yeah.
It really is great. And
Getting everything.
they get every week these characters just get stronger and stronger.
The
Yeah.
nightmare that I do have, though, this is one of two things going to happen. We're either going to have a Smallville version of Gotham, where everything we want will happen in the last season,
Yeah.
or this will be our generation's Firefly.
One season.
Yeah, one season.
This will go more than one season.
It's friggin' better, man.
It'll go more than one season, but also I'm holding out until I get more information, but I still think we're going to have a time jump at some point.
That there will have to be a time jump. There'd have to be.
Yeah.
I'd probably put it season 3. I'd like they'll go to like where Arrow went,
Yep.
and then they'll time jump a couple of years.
Yeah.
Which won't feel offensive.
No.
Because you'll like to get that character development that people will want. They're going to have to do that.
Oh,
But,
definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Like something with like Nigma, they're going to have to show the reasons he leaves the police force, and then they may time jump.
I don't think he's going to leave. I think he's going to become the Riddler while he's still there, and then
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
like it's going to be in everybody's face, and
Yeah.
nobody's going to realize
Because
it
he's the
until,
smartest guy in the room.
Yeah, well, and he's the smartest guy in Gotham until
Bruce.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
But
then
you even look at, I think it was Riddler in the video games. I
Yeah.
can't remember which one it was, but I think it was actually Origins,
Yeah.
maybe Origins.
I think it might
Where
be.
he was actually just leaking information.
yeah, that's origin.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
to
Origins.
try and he might do the same sort of thing, I reckon.
Yeah, fair
I
enough.
firmly believe that that's what he'll do.
I think that's definitely where they're going with that.
Yep.
Well, anybody get anything else to add on TV this week?
I don't know what's going on over there with the writing, but they're just phenomenal. I think they're constantly on Red Bull, reading like Old Testament style stories and taking because the writing is brilliant.
Yeah.
I can't fault these shows. It's annoying.
I have one fault with this show.
Quick, disconnect him right now.
It doesn't
Barbara
go long
Gordon,
enough.
I just can't stand her at the moment.
Oh, Barbara.
Yeah.
Fuck, I hate that
See,
character.
there's nothing.
I was going to bring that up. Have you guys seen Breaking Bad?
No, I haven't.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You'll be able to back me up on this, Braden, then.
Okay.
Is this bitch Skylar White, or is it just me? Like,
She's
wait,
fucking
she's just a bitch
Skylar
for
White.
no reason. Like, oh my god, you got cancer, now I'm going to be a complete douche to you. It's like, well, you tried to save my life, you son of a bitch, and I didn't listen to you, and I got hurt. I can't take this anymore.
I'm
See-
fucking out.
I'm leaving my own house.
See, I mean, I'm a little confused with this Barbara. I mean, I know it's very early on in the story between Jim and Barbara and all that. I'm pretty sure he marries Barbara at one point.
Yeah, Barbara is the mother of Barbara.
Okay, because my brain's hurting a little bit.
In the comics,
yeah,
Barbara.
So they
he marries Barbara Gordon, and then they have a daughter.
called Barbara who becomes Oracle.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I'm trying
because
to
they didn't have in the
Okay.
comics. They don't have a son, and the comic book storyline is Jim thinks he's having a son, so he's going to call him Jim Jr. And then when it's a girl,
Barbara. Okay, because I'm a little confused why they're making Barbara be such a bitch. I don't get it.
drama. She
There's
is
enough-
she
there is
is
enough
the
drama.
only there's enough drama with all the villains.
Yeah.
But there's
okay.
if you take away the villains,
You got-
what drama is there in Jim
You
Gordon's
need,
life?
okay, you need
Yeah,
drama.
close
at
to
home.
home sort of.
Yeah,
drama.
Jim
How much of
Gordon
a
needs
headache has
something.
he got?
Plus, it makes him more relatable to the people, like the normal fans.
Yeah,
Makes
this is
him
true.
more
Actually,
relatable.
that's actually a very good
That's
point.
the argument they'll go with.
Yeah, no, that's a very
And
good
you
point.
know, I think that they'll redeem her somehow. She's a DA, so I can see her.
She's a DA.
Yeah,
Not on that show. She's not.
yeah, she is.
Is she?
Yeah, she works for the. That's what they keep talking about. She worked with Essen and all other sorts of shit. I'm
I
sure.
didn't
she-
even think
No,
it worked.
it hasn't been. No, it hasn't been mentioned at all what she does for a living.
Yeah, I didn't think it had.
No, it hasn't been mentioned at all.
She's got
No,
these
Esther's been-
bloody huge
Esther's been
house and sits at
sleeping
home
with
and
her.
drinks booze.
Yeah, I know Essen was sleeping with her, but she's talked about her job in the first couple episodes. I'm
No.
going to go back and look because I'm certain.
I'm pretty sure it has not really been mentioned. She's like a second generation, or she's a silver spoon.
Yeah, she's a silver spoon, but
But
she's.
I don't think she's a DA. No, it was an art dealer or something like that. No, it's something to do with art, museum. Dead set.
Oh, whatever. I'll look it up and check that for next
No,
week.
do it. That's.
Yeah, well, I'm not arguing if you're right, right.
No, because I'd like to know as well. Because like I'm kind of confused why she's such a bitch. Is there stress at work? Is that why she's drinking? Because I know DAs drink
No,
scotch.
she's drinking because of Zaz.
Oh,
The whole episode had to do with she's freaked out because she got
Yeah.
kidnapped by Zaz and now she's scared and she wants Jim to assure her there's no
Right.
monster.
It's your own fucking fault.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know, right?
But yeah, no, she's heading into that territory where you're a bitch for no reason.
Oh, she gone down the laurel
Yeah.
path. I'm gonna start drinking. My life is horrible.
I don't think she'll come back for what. See, what I thought, the reason I thought she was a DA and where I thought this was going to head was she's going to fuck off for like 10 episodes,
Yeah.
right? And Jim will start cleaning the town up and it's like, I can't take the mayor down. There's nobody here who I have my back to prosecute him.
Yeah.
And then she comes in, I'm really sorry, Jim. I should have believed you. Now I help you
Ah.
prosecute
Yeah, but then
the
we've
mayor."
got Dent as well, and he's a DA.
Dent's there now.
Dent's not a DA yet.
Nah, he's just a
Dent's just a lawyer.
just a
Oh, he's the
prosecutor.
assistant DA, isn't
As a prosecutor.
No, I think he works for
Prosecutor.
the district attorney's office, but he's just the dude at this point.
Yeah, I
Oh,
do
okay.
like the little coin trick he did with the kid though. That was like a nice intro because
Yeah.
I don't the Harvey Dent
he?
episode is.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
I don't. You put it on our Facebook page.
Did I?
It was either you
I
or
did
you.
too,
It
didn't
wasn't
I?
me. It wasn't me. Who else has access to our Facebook page?
I think it was me. I did too.
Alfred.
Alfred did it. But no, it's on the Facebook page. So he's doing this little that coin bit was actually kind of
Yeah.
a really solid introduction to him, and it, like straight off the bat, it was the two-faced coin. I love that.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
that's
good.
the same thing they did in The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
With the fact that he fucks around with the lucky coin. And that's the thing. He's meant to have a lucky coin
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
he farts around with. It's just that when he gets fucked up, the coin gets fucked up, and that's where the whole
Two-face.
yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. But I think it'll be a long time before we see Two-Face.
Oh, it's a good 30 odd years, one would say.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. In theory, you could have Gotham exist with villains before Batman's there.
Yeah, it would have to exist with villains, but someone like Two-Face came in while Batman was still Batman. In theory.
In chronological canon order, sure, but
Yeah.
you could still have, considering that Two-Face is created by a Falcone informant throwing acid at him,
This
he
is
would
true.
still fit for, like, you could have him, say, season 3 he gets acided, and then he's not around for 2 seasons because he's in hospital and mental asylums and shit. That'll fit. And
The
he's
thing
never
is,
come
I
back
mean,
in.
I'd like to see them actually go with canon lore a little bit on this one.
The problem with that is, and we get into what we were talking about a few weeks ago, how do you have canon lore and how do you do all that without Batman? Because if you're going to introduce these villains, you can't have Joker then, because Joker doesn't turn up until Batman's been there for 2 years.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the funny thing. I mean, yeah. I mean, there's part of me that would love to see a canon lore canon lore season, but I don't think you can really have that with the wider audience.
No, I'm open to them doing the story in different ways.
Well, they're already heading in different places anyway.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, so-
the penguin fish thing kind of proves that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I do like that dynamic as well. That's a very cool dynamic.
Yeah.
I love it.
I get the feeling you two are trying to stretch out this TV talk because you just really don't want to talk Batman Begins.
Actually,
Sorry, Batman Returns, I should say.
yeah. Actually, I'm going to take about 5 minutes while you actually go on your intro rant.
I don't have not that long an intro rant. I just have a nice intro to play. So here it is.
Okay.
We'll move on to our next segment for the day. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for...
And now for our feature presentation.
learned about that strange penguin person?
Penguin is a bird that cannot fly. I am Oswald Cobblepot.
Oswald controls the Red Triangle Gang.
Honey, I'm home. Always waiting for some Batman to save you. I am Catwoman. Hear me roar. Meow. To destroy Batman, we must first turn him into what he hates the most. Us.
You got kind of a dark side, don't you?
No darker than yours, Bruce.
That's right. This week we're looking at Tim Burton's Batman Returns, and I wish Batman hadn't fucking returned. Anyway, let's get on to the synopsis for this. We start off with Tucker and Esther Cobblepot, an aristocratic couple, throwing their deformed infant child into the sewers, feeling that Gotham's high society would not approve of their deformed freak child.
Cat-eating freak child.
Very well said. However, a flock of penguins living in the sewers rescue him and raise him. We then jump 33 years later.
Oh,
the child
God.
has now become the Penguin. He kidnaps businessman Max Schreck, blackmailing him into helping him become a citizen of Gotham, using evidence of his corporate crimes. Meanwhile, Max discovers that his secretary, Selena Kyle, has found out about how he is planning to, in fact, not build a new power plant, but build a power conductor that will do nothing but seep the energy from Gotham. And, of course, Max pretends to push her out a window and freaks her out, and they have a nice laugh. And then he does push her out the window, and she lands several floors beneath in the snow and is attacked by cats and has a mental breakdown, goes home, makes herself a vinyl cat suit, and calls herself Catwoman. Then the Penguin sends one of his henchmen, who are, of course, costumed, why wouldn't they be, to kidnap the mayor's baby while he saves him, becoming the hero of Gotham. However, billionaire Bruce Wayne, you recognise that guy's name? It was nice of him to fucking turn up. He's suspicious of the Penguin and discovers that he's in fact the leader of the Red Triangle Circus Gang, who commit crimes throughout Gotham. As Batman, Bruce decides to protect Gotham from the gang. After Penguin discovers that his parents are dead and his name is Oswald Cobblepot, Max decides to make Penguin the mayor of Gotham City because the current mayor will not approve of the power plant and Oswald will do whatever he's told. To do this, the Penguin has the Red Triangle Circus Gang create a riot, causing the citizens to lose faith in the mayor, but Batman steps in and stops it. During the riot, Catwoman vandalizes Shrek's department store to gain revenge on Max, while Batman and the Penguin confront each other, and she intervenes and the store blows up. Penguin escapes as Catwoman fights Batman. Batman pushes her off a rooftop and she lands in a truck bed full of cat litter, which I will get into later. The next day, fuck this film, I can't believe it's another one of these films that takes place apparently in like 25 minutes, just like the first one. The next day, Penguin and Catwoman collaborate on a plan to kill Batman. Meanwhile, Bruce and Selena develop a romantic relationship because once again it's been 48 hours and bitches love them some Bruce. Penguin and Catwoman kidnap the Ice Princess, an actress chosen to turn on the Gotham City Christmas tree lights, framing Batman for the deed. Batman finds her, but Catwoman takes her to a rooftop where Penguin releases a swarm of bats, and it looks as though she has fallen to her death because Batman has pushed her. The citizens freak out and decide to ride on Batman, and he enters the Batmobile only to discover that his safety is gone because the Penguin has had his henchmen take control of the Batmobile, and now Penguin is riding it from a fun time ride within his little trailer. And I should say his van, which was a rocking, so don't nobody come a-knocking. Now, Batman has recorded Penguin's plan during all this, as Penguin has been nice enough to do the Bond villain thing and lay out his entire plan just before he thinks he's going to kill Batman, because why wouldn't you? And then both Bruce and Alfred proceed to hijack the Penguin's election platform speech, playing the audio that the Penguin had recorded earlier, talking about how he played this city like a harp from hell. Like a harp from hell. Now, because of this happens, the citizens of Gotham turn their backs on the Penguin, as does Max Schreck, which pushes the Penguin over the edge, and he decides he will now kidnap all the firstborn children of the Blue Bloods of Gotham City. He does so and attempts to kidnap them all, but Batman foils his plan by stopping the big train that Penguin had loaded them all in, which was nicely coloured red and yellow, making it easy for Batman to find in the dark and frees all the children. He then storms his way into the Penguin's underground base and begins to battle with the Penguin and pushes him into some water and is like, "Get out of here, you little freak." Anyway, around this time, Catwoman shows up and tries to kill Max, but Batman's all like, "You don't need to do this," and rips off his mask and reveals that he's Bruce Wayne, and she kisses him and they're all happy, and Max is all like, "Bruce Wayne? Why are you dressed as Batman?" And the Penguin emerges from the water choking and spluttering and coughing up his own blood and falls to his death just on the ground, and his Emperor Penguins form a march around him and drag him into the sewer water. Meanwhile, Selina has a nice fight with Max and electrocutes him, but doesn't electrocute herself because apparently her lipstick doesn't conduct electricity because she's smart like that. Planned ahead, obviously. And when Batman goes to check on what's going on, he finds only Max Shreck's burned deceased corpse. Nothing to do with Selina there. Afterwards, in the prologue, Alfred drives Bruce home. Suddenly, Bruce spots Selina's shadow in an alley, but when he investigates, he finds only her black cat missing. He takes the cat with him, and after exchanging Christmas pleasantries with Alfred, they drive off into the night as the bat signal explodes in the sky and Catwoman rises into shot, looking at it as we get Danny Elfman's theme to play us out. Braden, take away your thoughts because I need to walk away from my microphone and kill myself.
I got one word for this movie. Boring. It was just... You know how many times Batman appeared in this movie?
7.
4.
And he takes him like 25 minutes to show up for the first time as well.
Yeah, he starts up at the start. He shows up at the start, 25 minutes in, and then doesn't show up till an hour in. He shows up in this movie 4 times.
Yeah.
Batman is in Batman Returns.
He returned
4 times. Oh, Jesus. I'm just trying to read where else. What have I got here? Max Shrek at the start, where they were looking for him at the ride at the start. Penguin's guys, I think it was Penguin's guys, were looking for him, and they said they wanted, the guy who's running the show here, and then his son steps in to sacrifice himself for it, and he's like, "Oh, okay, no worries." He's just willing to let his son sacrifice himself, and then at the end of it, when he's trying to take the firstborns, he's like, "No, take me, not my son." Make up your fucking mind, Max Shrek.
Not with my son. You should take me. I tended to Jerry Seinfeld at the end there. I apologise.
Selina Kyle, Michelle Pfeiffer was very good at Catwoman, but there was a few things that I really didn't like about Selina Kyle herself. Every version of Catwoman or Selina Kyle that I've seen, she's a very, street smart type of woman. She's grown up on the streets and she knows a thing or two. In this one, you see her go back to her house and she's got stuffed toys and doll's house and all this crap. She's a very sad sort of woman trying to get herself a boyfriend or a husband or whatever, and she just can't. That just, to me, is not Selina Kyle.
Yep.
As Catwoman, though, she was very good. I think the only thing that I could say that I didn't like her do was Catwoman when she was on Penguin's bed. She's like, "I'm going to give myself a bath," and just licking herself.
Yeah, I've got that in my notes too.
Yeah, it's just no.
Yeah, this film was filled with a lot of no.
Yeah, just no.
I'm going to eat my words from last week. I got to admit, last week I did say I thought this film perhaps might have aged better. No, it aged much worse. This is, it turns out, Batman 1989. This is the blue vein cheese. It's the good cheese. This is just penicillin. Not the good penicillin. This is the penicillin that you get in your ass, the shot in your ass after you've had sex with the dirtiest street prostitute you can find.
That's the
and you've caught all the syphilis. All of it. All the different strains. You've got in there and the doctor is like, "Holy shit, you have mega syphilis. Congratulations, you've collected all the syphilis. Now bend over and let me put some penicillin in you." And you'd be like, "Penicillin?
Let me
What do you
put some
mean?"
Batman Returns in your ass.
Let me just Batman Returns you straight up. That'll clear your shit up. Terrible.
There's, I think I said it earlier on, I wish I left...
Leave the memories alone.
I had brilliant memories of this as a child. I really did. I honestly, because it gave me Penguin, it gave me Catwoman, Batman for 4 times. And then I watched it today, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to be fair. I'm going to draw a line down the center of the page. I'm going to have pros, cons. Cons filled up quicker than pros. That's how that worked. I mean, for me, the best part of this movie was probably the set design. The set is always gorgeous with Tim Burton's and Danny Elfman. And
Danny Elfman, absolutely.
Alfred.
Do you want to know the best part of this movie was for me?
What's that?
Ejecting it from my PlayStation 4, putting it back in the box.
No, snapping it, throwing it down the corridor. I never want to see you again.
No, I paid $10 for this one. I'll keep it. It's not like the $6 Batman and Robin where if it's shit, I can be like, well, I've wiped my ass with this. I paid $10 for this, damn it. Oh, man.
Anyways, I'll move on to...
Oh, please.
I was going to say I'll move on to Penguin, but that wasn't Penguin. That was a man who looked like a penguin.
Yeah, basically, yeah, definitely. That is a very...
It was just a filthy, fat man with deformed hands.
See, I mean, Adam made a point while we were watching it, is there are certain parts, like the psychotic parts of Penguin that Danny DeVito nailed. Like biting the dude's nose.
Bite his nose, yeah.
But other than that, I mean, the voice was quite good. The voice was pretty consistent.
The noises were good.
But other than that, yeah. It wasn't like 1966 where it's like, wah,
St. Clancy,
yeah, so
I'm going to get you, Batman.
Yeah, basically. But, I mean, Danny DeVito, I think with what he's been given, I mean, he's a very good actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably not Tony or Emmy Award-winning actor. Or Oscar-winning actor.
I was going to say, is he Oscar? Oh, he's definitely, he can win an Oscar. Tony, you can't sing. Come on, he's just, and he's too good for the small screen to win an Emmy.
No, what I'm saying, like, he's a consistent actor. He's very good, but I think what he was given was a script full of poo, and costumes that were poo, and basically
literally it looked like he was wearing things smeared with poo.
Legitimately,
I think that was part of the point there with that.
Yeah,
I don't know a point about the poo, but I do have a point
sewers.
about the onesie, and I want to know if it was the same onesie he was... Because you don't see the kid. We don't know if he was elephantine-like and all deformed and shit. Maybe it's the same onesie, and he's literally just wearing his onesie. Since then, he's covered in 33 years of shit. It's covered in 33 years of shit and the things people flush away that he puts on his mantle.
You flush it, I flaunt it.
Sorry, what were you going to say there?
So I've only got one thing that I want to say about Penguin, and he's a massive perv in this, and I
wrote that down, how sleazy this film is.
Yeah.
I laughed really hard when just after he bit that guy's nose and that chick took him off, and Max Shrek was talking, and he's like, "I'd like to fill her void."
Yeah, her cold.
Have a button.
Yeah.
And then after that, he says, I'd teach her my French flipper trick.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, where the fuck did he learn that?
Circus, baby.
Was there a French fucking penguin in the sewers or something? It's like,
I imagine that bitch with the poodle was the French one.
Yeah, it's true. Or he learned it from the poodle.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
But he's grown up in the fucking sewers, hasn't he? He's not.
He grew up in the sewers up to a point, and then he went and joined the circus.
He went to France.
Oh, he did he?
Yeah, that's how he took over the Red Circus game.
That's right. Yeah. The Batman finds that, and
yeah.
they murdered somebody as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
That's right. I missed it.
Ringleader. They got rid of the ringleader or something like that.
You probably fell asleep during that bit, Braden.
Yeah,
I wouldn't blame you.
Oh yeah, I'd like to point out to the listeners, I had to watch this twice because I fell asleep the first time. That's how good it was.
That's the golden box right there. I fell asleep and I had to watch this twice because I fell asleep the first time.
Yeah.
My missus wasn't happy.
We're still watching. This shit is still going.
Hell, man, get out now.
I said to Terry, by the end, we got to the end of the film, and I felt like literally I'd started watching it the minute I pressed pause on the last podcast, and it had taken me the whole week to get through watching this film. Oh, man. To quote Homer Simpson, I've been to plays that were shorter than that. Honest to God, Marge, plays.
Yeah.
Have you got anything else, Braden?
No, I'm going to leave it at that.
Would we like to Terry? Do you want to give us your pros and cons column?
All right. Pros. It ended. No.
I actually, just before we do that, Braden, may I ask you a question?
Yep. Yes.
What was the opening part of the film for you?
the opening part of the film.
like after the Warner Brothers logo, what happened? Was it the basket, them having the kid and sending him down the basket, or did you get one that was the camera moving through the bat signal in the snow?
No, I don't remember seeing that.
See,
no, it was you seen
the penguin's parents have and his birthday.
Yeah, they had the baby.
Right,
the baby. It's the cat.
I don't know whether I imagine something, but I swear to God, I have a memory in my head of, you know how in the first one it goes through the bat symbol and it's yellow.
Yeah.
And it goes through like 19 minutes of the bat symbol.
Yeah.
I thought it was that, but it was white with snow coming off of it.
Yeah, no, I actually have a brief memory of that as well.
Maybe it was just in the Australian theatrical release and they didn't...
It could be, because, we're, Australia.
Speaking of that, just before you get into pros and cons list, would you like a little anecdote that I have about this movie?
Yeah, go for it.
This was the first Batman movie I ever saw in the theatres.
Yeah.
It was 1992, so I would have been...
3? No.
I would have been 9?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for adding math there for me. 9. I was 9 at the time. My dad took me to see it. We went to a theatre that's now no longer there, down at the 4-Stroke Glenelg here in South Australia.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Went down there. You weren't allowed to bring your own food or food or drinks in. My dad smuggled in 2 pies for himself, a sausage roll for me, sauce to put on top of them, 2 cans of Coke, a cup of coffee for himself, and a bag of chips each.
Nice.
Inside his jumper.
Yep.
And we sat there munging on hot food and watching Batman Returns.
Yeah.
It was a much better film when I was a kid, but I do remember my dad's comment, and it's something that I've read a lot about, and I'll get into post analysing.
Yeah.
But he didn't realise it was going to be as dark as this was.
Yeah. Actually, that's pretty fair.
And a lot of parents didn't, but I'll get into that a bit later on. That's a teaser for a little bit.
That's cool.
Now,
they've probably got better memories of Adam West as Batman.
That's what I was going to say.
So they wouldn't expect it.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Terry's pros and cons.
Okay, my pros is very quick. Okay, so I've got set design. The music by Danny Elfman for me sets the mood a lot, and it's not me I'm not being facetious. Danny Elfman for me is probably one of the top 3.
They actually use all the themes from this in the Batman Lego games.
Yeah.
They use the Danny Elfman score.
They do.
And I think that's very cool that they chose that score over the others.
Yeah, for me...
Actually, while you're mentioning Batman Lego, I can't remember if I've mentioned this already or not, but they're doing, I think, another Batman Lego movie, and it's got Green Arrow in it, and Stephen Amell is actually voicing Green Arrow in that movie.
Yeah, I think I saw... did you post that to our Facebook page?
I didn't see that.
I don't know.
I've got a little bit moist in my pants then.
Yeah, I'll be buying Batman Lego just for Stephen Amell, my favourite Canadian besides Wolverine right now.
Oh, no, he in the first Lego game, he was a downloadable character in a certain skin. You got his voice.
Yeah.
Or was that in? No, that was in Injustice.
Oh, really?
Injustice, he was downloadable for a while, but you can't get him anymore. But they are making a film with it, and he's in the next game.
That's brilliant. Yeah. So for me, like I said, music. Danny Elfman for the music. He's in the league of John Williams and Hans Zimmerman for me.
Yep.
That's just how that is. Christopher Walken, he's kind of that weird...
Oh.
He's a phenomenal actor because my first...
Can I just interject here? Are you talking about my man, Christopher Walken?
Man number 3, yep.
Man number 1.
What about Dan Hedaya?
Oh, Dan Hedaya is a comfortable number 2. That sounds wrong. Don't mean it that way, Dan. You're fantastic. But Dan Hedaya is comfortably my number 2 slot. But Christopher Walken with a bullet, I need more cowbell. Number 1, bang.
I need more cowbell. For me, he really came to I only really discovered him for Pulp Fiction, and for that
when he carried a watch in his ass.
Yeah, and then I just it's not. There's something really likable about him. You can give him a brilliant script. He sounds the same every goddamn time.
Yeah.
But he will just run with the character. It's brilliant.
I think they never give Christopher Walken a character to play. It's not Jack Nicholson playing the joke. They wouldn't give Christopher Walken the Joker.
No.
Because you just wouldn't work. But you get Christopher Walken to play a certain type of character.
Yeah.
I actually have another funny Christopher Walken story that I'll tell you quickly. I saw an interview with Bradley Cooper recently.
Yeah.
And they were asking about funny stories about celebrities that he worked with. And he said that when he was doing Wedding Crashers...
Yeah.
That there was a scene where he and Rachel McAdams had to dance multiple takes, we're talking 4 or 5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And so to keep her from getting bored and to keep her smiling in the scene, he was just moving around going, fart, fart, farting, fart, 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 just constantly as they kept moving around. So I love Christopher Walken.
So he was just solid. He plays Max Schreck brilliantly.
Oh.
Side note for that, I still don't understand Felix the Cat. I really don't get it.
Yeah,
I just don't get it.
Symbolism, bitches.
Or...
Symbolism.
I really don't care.
Because I've got something in my notes about that.
That's fine. Alfred, obviously, just his. It's just that dry Britishness he brings to it.
Sass.
It's not full blown sass. It's that nice subtle sass where you walk off and 5 minutes later going, wait, I was just sassed. Damn it, Alfred, get
I was mine sassed.
Wait a minute, so it was said, not good, get out. You know? So he's always a plus. Once again, set design, the Batcave for me, that's the most iconic Batcave ever. I mean, Nolan's Batcave was nice.
Yeah.
With the cool hydraulics and stuff.
Do you mean the Batcave in Batman Begins? Or do you mean the underground locker in The Dark Knight?
No, the underground cave below the East Wing.
Below Moy Manor.
Yeah. So, I mean, Tim Burton's Batcave for me is the iconic one. I believe the video games are largely based off that.
The comics are largely based off that now too.
Yeah.
The sub levels and
how
the
it's got
cabins and shit.
Yeah, I mean, I know the Batcave in Origins is very much based on that, so for me, it was brilliant. Michael Keating, when he gets to do a little bit of comedy, like where Selena Kyle comes back into Shrek's office, and there's Wayne and Shrek, and they're just both dumbfounded. Selena Kyle's there.
Yeah.
He gets to do the little facial expressions that he's really, really good at.
Yeah.
And when they've got that Selena Kyle and Bruce Wayne have got that back and forth just by the elevator, the wait, I'm leaving thing, and it fits perfectly. It does it beautifully for me. Danny DeVito, even though the casting was wrong for him as Penguin, I feel like I said Bob Hoskins would have been perfect. He ran with that costume and ran with that character, and he didn't break at all.
Danny DeVito disappears, man.
Yeah, he's so constant, and
if it wasn't for the fact that, unlike say Heath Ledger, who's normal sized,
yes,
if Danny DeVito was a normal sized human being, you would look at that and go, that dude disappeared. But because he is a shorter dude, you know who it is.
Yeah, and you put him next to someone like Christopher Walken, who's like 6 something.
Oh, yeah.
He's quite tall. But for me, Danny DeVito, even though I feel the casting is wrong, he was consistent. It was fluid.
At least he got into the part.
He got really into the part, and like you said, he's got that much prosthetics on. It's kind of hard not to lose yourself.
Yeah, like I said, I noticed he had a prosthetic shoe on his left leg, so he'd waddle slightly.
Yep.
He obviously had that, and the makeup actually held up in Blu-ray. I was surprised by.
Yeah.
He had the piece that had a different shaped nose and the
nose was slightly
eyes
broken
and
as well.
stuff.
If you have a look at front on it, it's like kicks off to one side. So yeah, for me, he's a real good, solid performance.
Yep.
But just didn't quite fit though. Alfred again, his sass is beautiful. It's just that constant sass for him, and the screenwriting for him is brilliant.
Yep.
And the little the last one was probably the fight scene between Catwoman and Batman with the tree lighting chick, the Miss
Princess, Ice Princess.
Ice Princess. There was a lot of that. That was a very
brutal fight.
It's brutal, but it's simple. And the eat floor comment and just dropping it to the floor. That was for me a little brilliant.
High fiber.
High fiber. That's right. It was high fiber.
Big floor.
Yeah, pretty much. And I've just got 2 pages of like negatives here, which kind of upsets me a little bit.
Just before you get onto your negatives, I want to point out to me that I made a comment to Terry during while we were watching this, Braden. I think he'd appreciate it. I think every week he's going to start finding that 1966 Batman better and better. That shit. It's like 50 some odd years later.
Yeah.
Still as good a film as ever. This thing.
Yeah. No. Like I said. I mean, I'll address that briefly. I won't.
I'll address it lengthily.
I'll do it briefly because I don't want your little ginger ego to get too inflated. I have no problem changing my opinions based on fact and things like that. Now that I've looked at 66 Batman and what is this, 92 Batman?
92,
yeah, 92.
92, right. So I didn't have a lot of memories of 66 Batman movie, even though I do remember the dehydration, all that sort of stuff, being really young.
Yep.
All right. Aging wise, 66 has aged a lot better. And for me, I think Tim Burton or whoever the hell is behind Returns as well injected way too much 66 humour. Like we said, there's way too many jokes. Like the penguin flying off on one of his umbrellas that didn't actually have blades was literally just the skeleton of the umbrella. Like, I noticed that, and I have friends that are pilots. So I'm looking at this going, there's no way that would support like a dumpy 90-kilo man.
Yeah.
So yes, I know it's all based in fairy tale land, but at the same time, make it somewhat realistic.
Yep.
What else is there? Circus Folk in the Sewers. I just found that hard to leave straight off the bat. The design of the penguin, like the suit, I hated. For me, I mean, it's
the onesie.
The onesie, the fat padding, if it is fat padding, Like,
Except for in the leagues.
yeah, but if you look at it, it's unfair for me to say this, but for me, the Penguin in this Gotham that we're watching now is a lot more believable and on a level likable compared to Danny DeVito's.
Yeah.
But then again, that's what happens when you get an emo to direct a Batman film. Okay? It's that simple. Selena Kyle's backstory just annoyed me so much. When we first started this, I was sitting down talking to my partner about what she had one of her friends over. Right? We were talking about Gotham, and I said, well, this is what we're doing, how good Gotham is, how gritty it is, like how closer to the comic books it is. She basically said she hated it on the basis that Selena Kyle, the story in Gotham, isn't true, and that's not the real Selena Kyle. She's a secretary. I'm like, have you seen any other Batmans? She's like, no. Have you played the video games? No. Have you read the comic
Get out of
books?
my house.
No, I did actually say get out. They laughed. I'm like, no. In all seriousness, if you have a look at the comic books, she's a street kid. If you look at Batman Year One, she's a call girl. Yeah, she's a prostitute. So this for me was really insulting. I was like, well, that's fine if you want to go that way, but if she's got to fall 8 floors through 3 awnings to land on concrete covered in snow,
All covered in cats, those awnings too.
yeah,
I have a feeling the cat face was the Shrek logo.
Felix the cat. You don't think that'd be a copyright infringement?
I don't think it was Felix. Oh, geez, Braden's phone's gone off in the background there.
That is if it's a phone.
Yeah. There he's got very excited. Yeah, no, it's not. It's not Felix the cat. It's very similar, but it's not Felix the cat.
Oh, it's just one of those things which I was just.
It looks very much like Felix the cat.
And landing on concrete. Now, I have a feeling that Tim Burton and Vince McMahon have a thing against blood. So let's be honest. In the first Batman, Joker falls God knows how many feet, no blood on the concrete. Selena Kyle falls through 8 stories, 3 awnings, lands on snow-covered concrete, no blood, except for a little scratch on her forehead.
And a finger when the cat bites her.
And a finger when the cat's nibbling.
Yeah.
So it's just, there's that little insulting things. If you're going to make a movie darkish, make it dark. That's not really dark. Even for the time, that's not really dark.
No.
So, if you want to be emo about it, go ahead. No, it's not.
I'll address that in a minute.
The other thing I have is, I know Batman is a law and abiding citizen. When he designs stuff, there's blueprints and all these other things. I'm pretty sure he doesn't register them with the design office, because how the hell circus folk have 6x2 prints of the Batmobile in their layer?
Yeah, labelled
and designed, so they can put like a little control box on it on the underneath. They had wires and everything out, and all they did was stuck it underneath.
Yeah,
that's all they did.
Brilliant.
I don't know how they got those blueprints, but that needs to be addressed. Simple as that. Where was it? There was another thing. If you're going to kidnap the firstborn of every blue blood in town, you'd think they'd have babysitters or some sort of security. So if a clown came to your house, there would be some level
or a
of security.
homeless bloke with a beard and a monkey.
Yeah, no. You'd think there'd be some sort of system in check. But no.
Yeah.
But no, there was none of that. The cops, I think we have established this, the cops in Gotham are fit.
Commissioner Gordon was in this for like 30 seconds all up.
Yeah, I know, right?
What the fuck?
Yeah, I know.
I think I only remember seeing him once.
He's in it twice.
Twice.
Oh, right.
He's
in it when the first time Batman turns up and he's like, thank God you're here, Batman. And Batman's all like, I don't have to talk, I'm going to walk away.
Yeah.
And then the second time he turns up, he's on the TV and they're like, what's going on? He's like,
we have evidence here.
Yeah, I have the battering.
It's only circumstantial, even though it's got it's Batman's and it's got blood on it. It's only circumstantial. So, for that, it's just the cops in here. They need to they need to restructure the cops, really. And opening fire in public while pursuing a felon, I'm pretty sure you don't do that as a police officer. I'm moderately sure.
I'm pretty sure, especially when the person is running between 2 civilians and you're just firing off shots. Yeah, I've got that in my notes.
Stop! Bang! 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 Stop!
Stop, or we'll shoot the people around you.
And probably one of the last biggest beefs I've got other beefs here, but I just can't read half my handwriting. They were written in anger. Was the funeral for Penguin. Last time I checked, Emperor penguins don't grow to 5.5 feet, and they don't stand an honor guard for a fallen comrade and slide them into water. So those
were circus penguins.
Oh, circus penguins.
Maybe you don't understand the ritual of being a circus penguin.
Do you?
When they zoo penguins, they were living in a zoo.
when you die, when you're a zoo penguin who's raised by carny folk, you become a look, you fuckers. I'll explain to you how it works. Okay, the zoo crashed down, and then the penguins went into the sewer, and then all the carnies came in, and they
What are
became
you, David fucking Attenborough?
And they became. Yes, I am. And then we see here the migration pattern of the circus penguin. It's raised by the circus leaders until it forms such a bond that even when its master dies, it will lead it in procession into the ocean depths.
You are a horrible person.
All right.
And how's that scene where he's got them? They're all like in that sort of stadium thing. They're all up on the seat. He's giving like a speech. He's giving a speech to penguins.
My fellow penguins, we're about to attack the jump. Yeah.
Okay. I'll give you my notes. We'll fire up on the real, the anger. I wrote things in red as well. That's how angry I was. Batman Returns, 1992. All right. First of all, I just want to point out that Tim Burton didn't put any Prince in this film. He put a little guy in. That was Pee Wee Herman was playing the Penguin's father.
Tucker?
But yeah, there was
Who did you replace
Prince.
Prince with, though? A quality man.
Oh, well, we'll get to that.
I don't
on
think
page
it's
3.
It's on page 3. It's on page 3. We'll get there. We'll get there. Don't worry.
As long as we get there, I don't care.
The other thing I noticed in this film is that this Tim Burton's one of his first big examples of I'm going to cast anybody that I've cast in a film before in a film. As we got, as I say, Pee Wee Herman from Pee Wee's Big Adventure, and as I said, this was the third film he's now done with Michael Keaton. As we've had Beetlejuice. Yeah, it was the last one. As we've had Beetlejuice and Batman and Batman Returns. They were meant to do Beetlejuice 2 for nearly 20 years now. We'll see if that ever happens.
I think Keaton would say no, because I think his comedy career has actually gone through the roof, basically.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Was it the other guys? No, he was in Need for Speed as well.
Toy Story 3.
Toy Story 3.
Probably be in Toy Story 4, I would imagine.
Yep, I dare say.
All right, moving on. Some things that I want to point out. Knox, Billy D. Williams as Harvey Dent, Vicky Vale. They're all apparently in that graveyard that Mick Red talked about last week, where Alfred's just knocking folks off, and I'm guessing Vicky had one too many roofies, and he finally pushed her over the edge. Oh, God. Okay, now, at the beginning, we fade from the penguin being raised by penguins straight into the outline of the face of a cat, just in case you weren't... We don't want any subtlety, just in case you didn't know what villains were in this film in the first 36 seconds. We'll push it in your face so you know for sure. Just... I will say Alfred continues to show that he was the best. That's a note that I've got. I love this Alfred so much. From the minute he turns up and he's just like, I don't read filth like that, you dirty, dirty newspaper boy. Dare you offer me things? Peon. Excellent. Did anybody else notice that Selena Kyle, when she first gets introduced, has the standard Hollywood glasses, ponytail, gross. She had paint covered over all. She would have never been the queen of the prom.
You know what's really fun? I think that's the DC introduction to most blonde journalists or some blondes. They have to be ponytail, blonde, glasses, and weak.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what Vicky Vale looked like in the first scene she was in too, isn't it?
We're seeing a link here.
Yeah. I think it's Tim Burton.
And then it's Tim Burton's got a fetish for blondes with glasses.
Yeah.
Someone got stood down at prom.
Yeah, I think so. Which is weird because Helena Bonham Carter is nothing like a blonde with glasses.
Neither's Johnny Depp.
Oh, God, I'm glad he wasn't working with Johnny Depp at this point. Jesus.
Oh, God.
I do want to point out Christopher Walken's hair is amazing. He looks like a fucking wizard. It's just... Christopher... Anytime he came... The only thing that saved me from hating this film was Christopher Walken popping up and just...
And his son.
I had that. That's my next point. Christopher Walken's son looks like the love child of Christopher Walken and Matt Damon from Team America.
Or Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's a big boy.
You see that? Dad, no.
Dad, no. Dad, no.
Thanks for teaching me how to talk.
My name's Chip. I will run this town.
Chip Walken. What the fuck was with Selena Kyle's constant use of the word corn dog?
Yeah, I
Stupid corn dog. I'm just like, this...
Oh, I shouldn't have said that, corn dog.
It's just so cheesy, this film.
Like corn dog?
It's just... God, Jesus. Did anybody else notice Chris Walken was wearing eyeshadow?
Yeah.
I couldn't understand that. It made sense for Penguin, but yeah, Chris Walken's wearing purple eyeshadow throughout this thing.
It's directed by an emo. What else do you think?
The guy that replaces Bob, this movie's Bob, the big the hairy bloke with the monkey, has a Gatling gun that he reams off multiple shots with and hits nobody with a Gatling gun.
He later became Stormtrooper.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, God. Yeah, okay, now the bat signal comes on and Bruce Wayne has a bunch of mirrors around his house to point it into him. First of all, it doesn't make sense how those catch the angle of the bat signal in the first place to get in there. Secondly, gee, who's Batman? Could it be the bloke with all the fucking bat-shaped mirrors on his house? I don't know. Just stupid. All right, also, anybody else notice the fact, does it not make more sense for a circus... A group of circus misfits who are dressed like clowns to be led by somebody who maybe dresses like a clown, not a penguin?
Not at all.
True.
Because I'm an emo director and I get what I want because my first one was a hit.
Just, at 15 minutes 23, Batman sets a man on fire.
Yep.
Straight up sets a dude on fire.
Yep.
Pulls up his car.
I'm not classifying that. I know I said in this film there's a moment that makes this stop being a Batman film. This is close. The reason I didn't count this was because theoretically that guy could have stopped, dropped, and rolled.
Yep.
He was in snow. So
what about the one that he strapped the dynamite to?
I'm going to show spoilers. Son of a bitch. All right. Now, I enjoyed when Catwoman came on screen. I actually liked Catwoman. Didn't like Selena Kyle, but I liked Catwoman. I thought that was good. Didn't understand why when she came home, she did that whole, honey, I'm home. Oh, that's right, I don't have anybody. I don't...
Is this leading into the other inconsistency we found?
I don't know. I just don't... I don't understand that.
Brayden brought it up earlier, how she's struggling to find a man and all that sort of stuff.
The answer machine, yeah.
Answer machine number 3. Hi, it's Brad here. I'll be taking my Christmas trip alone. My therapist said that I need some alone time and not to be treated like an appendage. So she can't find a boyfriend, but she can find a casual fuck.
Some appendage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I'd just bring that up for inconsistencies. I think we're up to about 6 or 7.
Yeah, I have a note here. She starts making the catsuit. Everything is so fucking pantomime and bigger. Are we sure we're not watching 1966? Because, bloody hell, I've seen plays where people were less big than this. Mm-hmm. Well, it's just ridiculous. It just became a panto.
Honest to God plays.
Well, yeah, I made a comment here. It's Batman cameo should have been the name of this film, as I've gone 30 minutes without seeing the bastard. Alfred. Oh yeah, okay. So Batman's in the Batmobile, and we get this shot of Alfred doing the ironing and talking to him. Where is this camera? This camera is set up like just across. He's just set up a camera across the room from his iron. I need to talk to Master Bruce, but I also need to make ironing and make sure he knows that I'm working. Jesus,
needs to get paid. That's multitasking for you.
He probably just moves it wherever he does. The next time he needs to talk to him, he's making a sandwich or something.
Making fishy swap. It's supposed to be a girl.
I think that's like the original GoPro. Is just set that thing up with a couple octopus legs. You're good.
I did like Bruce Wayne's flirting with Selena Kyle. And the whole I must be thinking it was it. I've met you before.
Oh no, yeah, sorry. I was confusing myself with myself.
Yeah. don't you mean me? What did I say?
that's where Michael Keaton's comic timing actually is really good.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't miss a beat.
Here's a question. Is the Penguin meant to be inbred? Is he a mutant or is he inbred? Because I've got a theory he's meant to be inbred since he's fully blue blood. And they always talk about how blue bloods, like the old school English style thing where, okay, I'm going to do it with my cousin because we're within the same family.
I'm pretty sure this isn't Game of Thrones, but I'm going to take a page out of the Taco Girls book and say, why not both? Why not both?
So he's an inbred freak.
Yes.
Nice. Why is raw fish the Penguin's kryptonite?
That is actually beyond me.
This movie.
Tim Burton's in there go,
it's just part of the picture of having him fucking disgusting.
And then 45 minutes into the film, Penguin suddenly just becomes this horn bag.
Yeah.
For no reason. He just did something like, well, now I'm going to make sure I get my dick in.
I like them human women.
Just, let me just touch your boob up for a while. I did like the line, stop global warming, start global cooling. I thought that ironically fit in that was the only line I'm like, hey, that held up.
Yeah, that's the only consistent aging well part.
Danny DeVito does go full sociopath in this film. He's properly, I'm going to do whatever it takes for power. Like when Catwoman refuses him, it's just like, all right, fuck it then, see you. Sends her off to die.
Really, I don't like you anymore.
Yeah. All right, get out of here. I loved it. As I said, Penguin's makeup was great. What else have I got? Oh, yeah. Okay, 57 minutes and 40 seconds. This stops being a Batman film. because Batman straps a bit of dynamite to a bloke, smiles, and blows him up. Now, as I said, I can accept the fire, stop, drop, and roll. I can accept Batman 1, the Batmobile technically is who killed people, not Batman. This is straight up Batman being all like, I'm going to kill this guy and I'm happy about it.
You know, it's a little bad.
Just, oh, God.
But like we said last week...
it's the same as last week's movie.
There's no premise of
What,
Batman...
trash?
There's no premise of Batman not killing.
Yeah, that's true.
Never established rule, so...
I know, it's just... Yeah, anyway... did anybody else know that? Apparently...
It kind of was, because then at the end he was trying to talk Selena into not killing Shrek.
Well, she's a woman. You don't want a woman.
And she's not Batman.
Yeah. He doesn't want her to be like him. Did anybody else know that they transported Kitila to just an open back tray like that? That's how they move it. Just in a truck.
So circumstantial, that one.
This movie, that I didn't make a note of this, but I said it while we were watching it. This entire movie hangs on everything just lining up with a perfect bunch of coincidences that everything times out right.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's no actual, you know what I mean? You take away a coincidence in this film, take away that truck and the film ends.
Yeah,
it's half a second later, she's dead.
Catwoman is... wait, no, she has 9 lives.
Don't get me started
She has
on
9
that.
lives because cats walked all over her for about 20 seconds.
Yeah, no kidding. Also, penguins and canaries, apparently, they go together like milk and crackers. Because penguin's got a canary. I always know that when I go to the zoo and I'm like, look at that canary in there with that penguin being best of friends. I love it. Fucking stupid. Why are Penguin and the Catwoman buddies? All of a sudden in this film, she just turns up, she's like, let's be friends. All right. Like, good, just okay.
Because they both want to get Batman.
Did they put out a flyer? I'm looking for another sociopathic anonymous.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I remember in high school a pretty girl would come up to me and say, let's be besties, and I'll be like, yeah, cool, no worries. The next minute I'm driving her everywhere. So that's pretty much how that works. It's lonely man syndrome. I know the suffrage.
I can see that. She says sexuality to get what she wants out of the penguin. Okay.
Yeah, man. Like, I think Catwoman's always been like sort of shown that way as well.
Yeah, that's true. She says sexuality is
like
sexuality.
Same, even with
the video games she's in it as well.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
So
I do like the fact they address where Vicky is by being like, yeah, well, I told her things about me and she didn't like it, so now we're not together. Fantastic writing there. I'm happy with the idea that she was roofied and killed myself. Worked better for me. Oh yeah, Gordon with the evidence is like we've got incriminating evidence. It's like, no, you don't. Akigata makes me bat shaped and throw it at a bitch. You don't have a body. You've theoretically probably got no blood, considering there's no blood on her later. Mm-hmm. So all you have is a bat-shaped device. You're like, well, it must be Batman. Nobody else can make anything about that.
He did say it was circumstantial.
Though it is circumstantial. I will give him that, but that's still... And the other thing I love is just going on TV, because don't you remember when OJ and Nicole had their problems, and the cops came on TV and held the knife up and were like, here's the knife. Here it is, take a nice shot. We reckon OJ killed her with this. No. Stupid. That's how you lose court cases, Gordon, you useless prick.
Yeah, well, considering it would be Batman up on court, on trial, he'd be like, yeah, no, here, look. Oh, he's away. It's all good.
Now, Selena with her hair down in this film, did anybody else get a vibe of Selena from Gotham, grown up?
I did, yeah, a little bit.
I think it might have just been the cut and the curls and whatnot. But yeah, I had that. What else we got? Oh yeah, the Batman fight after they go to the Batman Catwoman fight after the Ice Pageant Queen, I thought was incredible. Like that was a hardcore vicious fight where they're beating on each other and throwing each other to the ground and sneeze him in the face at one point. Like that's what I want. I was like, that's a proper fucking fight.
Yeah, so Tim Burton should only do fight movies from now on.
Yeah, although you brought up a good point while we were watching it. Apparently, if you fall 8 stories, you automatically become super confident and you learn how to fight like a ninja.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Batman spent years honing himself. He just thrown himself off a building. If he was really Batman, he would have known that. See, it's not real Batman. Adam West would have thrown himself off a building. Let me tell you that.
He walks up buildings.
Oh yeah, I like the fact Bruce calls Alfred on letting... Like, I didn't let Vicky Vale in the Batcave. I turn around, she's there. I like that because I'm like, yeah, well done for finally addressing that. It's sad it's a movie late, but well done for finally addressing. And the other thing I love about that is that it took him apparently like 3 years to finally be like, hey, remember when you did that 3 years ago?
You're fired.
Something said, not good.
You bastard.
Oh, yeah, I brought up that you brought up as well the cops shooting at civilians while Oswald's running through them. Great.
Yep.
Oh yeah, how and why the Penguin is human? How and why is he cold-blooded?
Yeah.
Why has he got flippers?
Because he's an inbred freak. Inbreeding doesn't make you cold-blooded though, unless you're inbreeding crocodiles.
Maybe they did, who knows?
Maybe penguins.
And now we get towards the party scene at the Shrek's masquerade party.
Yeah.
And this is where we do have Prince replaced quite nicely by another short black man because
Rick James.
we have Rick James playing in the background
Oh,
because
beautiful.
we have a nice medley of "She's a very fucking girl."
It was a beautiful medley. It was really nice.
It really was.
And then there was a
But
song.
she's a super freak, super freak. She's a super freak girl.
God.
It's one of those scenes where another song popped up after that as well, and it's in the special features.
And it is brutally bad.
It's
I would rather
80s
listen to
band.
that 8-minute long Prince thing.
In
than
fact,
this.
The
I
bat,
actually
the bat
have-
dance.
Yeah.
The Bat Dance.
Thank you for bringing that into my life, by the way, Braden.
See, I can't stop listening to Party Man. Party Man! I'm really upset because last week I kept saying What a Man, and now I've listened to it, I've realised it's Party Man, and I feel like a fool.
Yeah, well, we all know it was.
Wouldn't have even noticed if you hadn't brought it up.
Or whatever, man. I'm not afraid to call myself my bullshit.
Yeah.
Unlike you two, I'm prepared to improve my craft each week by getting better notes and being efficient and not being all like, where was I with my, I don't know.
Sorry, we're at your house with your computer set up, so obviously you're going to have all that stuff ready to go, man.
Excuses.
Sorry, you're coming.
Yeah, did anyone else notice Penguin suddenly became Hitler
Yeah.
with his penguin army?
Yeah.
They're like, we'll march on England. Do not let anything come between us and our glory. I was just like, what do you say? Why are they standing there listening like, yeah, this makes sense?
Whack, 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 whack.
Jesus, just, like I said, just panto.
And how cheap is it to get missiles these days? That was a good couple of hundred penguins.
Oh, I'll go you better one.
Absolutely.
How come there's more penguins in Gotham than there are in the fucking Antarctic?
This is true. Actually, that's probably what's happening. The breeding program got out of control.
Just...
That's what
This
that
is a dystopian future where Gotham is in Antarctica, I think. This is just messed up.
Planet of the Penguins, directed by Tim Burton.
Anybody else notice that Max Shrek is a monkey whisperer?
Uh-huh.
Monkey's just like, got you, stupid monkey. I monkey mind fucked you. I hate this movie so much.
It's
So the only bad person Batman doesn't want to kill in this film is Max Shrek, who is ultimately the actual fucking villain.
Yep.
Don't kill him. Don't kill him. You don't want to do that. I've just got to go kill the midget first, so just keep fighting.
Yeah, we'll call the cops. It's okay. Our incompetent police force.
Batman tears apart his own batsuit to show his face. How's he getting out of there? I've only got one set of clothes, but he's going out naked. Bruce Wayne runs through the snow in some sort of bizarre
He's a
challenge.
millionaire playboy.
No, he's not. Not this. Nobody knows anything about Bruce Wayne in this series.
That's
He's
right.
just reclusive.
That's right. Vicky Vale.
Are his parents alive? I don't know. What's he do with his time? Apparently, he goes to Japan. We know that now. Goes and collects armor. God,
No, he just sits and just looks into nowhere.
He looks
just sits there in thought all the time.
Sits and
That's
thinks
what he
about
does.
Selena Kyle.
Every time you see him as Bruce Wayne, he's just sitting there in thought.
Actually, there was a lovely homage to Adam West at one point where, which one was it? Was the relighting of the tree? He was there and his shirt matched the couch covers. He was wearing a lovely cravat.
Bruce Wayne is watching the lighting of the Christmas tree and
That's
he's
it.
wearing a cravat and it's
Yeah.
all burgundy and everything's
Yeah,
burgundy.
it was actually a really nice little homage.
Anybody else? Did you guys know that if you get shot in the leg or in the arm, it actually costs you a life? Because apparently the Catwoman's playing in Mario or something.
Yeah.
That's
what actually had. Every time she jumped, I'd hear a little Mario boing.
And my last note I had, I brought up in my synopsis. But once again, Selena electrocutes Max Shrek while kissing him, and is immune to electricity.
Well, that was one of her lives, so it's okay.
Just this film.
And she's in a rubber suit too, so the electricity's got
that's
nowhere to
not
go.
rubber. That's not rubber. That's thin
latex.
vinyl. That's
Well, no,
you know,
you're
if
right.
you're doing concreting, that's the underlay. That's what you.
They
use.
did. I did read that the suits cost $20,000 to make, and they went through 20 somewhat of them because she kept
What,
wearing them.
Catwoman suit?
Yeah.
Jesus.
That cost $20,000.
Yep.
How?
Hot?
It's like
Maybe
what,
it's the
vinyl with
finest
staples in it.
It's the finest vinyl.
Yeah, Tim Burton's own hand spun vinyl.
They were. He's sitting there in some sort of web spinning vinyl for a living.
Yeah,
that's what he does.
Well, okay, now just to go backwards a little bit, we talked about something earlier. When this film came out, there was quite a lot of controversy around it because you made a comment earlier. For the time, it wasn't dark.
No.
okay, for movies in general, no, but this is the first M-rated Batman. Even like 1989
Was
Batman
PG.
is PG.
Yeah.
And the worst bit you get in that, the worst you get is the Joker dropping, and that's it. This thing, you've got a guy who's biting dudes on the nose and gushing blood. There's a lot of sexualization in it. He's bleeding blue shit from his mouth. Like, this is a hardcore. There's guys are getting blown. Guy gets set on fire. Guy gets blown up.
I'm not saying it's. When I say dark, I'm comparing it to like RoboCop that was released in the early 90s as well. And
That's an R-rated film, though. There's a big difference between an R-rated film and a comic book film. In 1989, when all they knew was Christopher Reeve's Superman, Adam West Batman, and Tim Burton's first Batman.
I mean, if you compare it, like, for me, Burton's Batman is actually darker than, say, RoboCop. RoboCop is 10 times more bloody and violent.
Yeah,
like,
well, that's the point.
So-
RoboCop's meant to be extreme violence.
Yeah. So, where do you draw the line where what's dark and what's just gore? So that's where you have to sort of
Yeah, I
set
can
the
see
precedent.
that.
So,
But I guess where they look at this, or where people look at this, was the first Batman film you could still take your kids to.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? When this came out, like I said, in 1991, when this came out, 1992, I should say, when this came out,
Yep.
the sensibility at the time was very different to what it is now.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it was.
And people were taking their 5-6-year-old kids to see this because it was a Batman film.
Yeah.
And walking out with them in tears and traumatized because the Penguin gets killed. There's a dude that gets his face burnt off. Like, this is a hardcore fucking... It's like the parents... and I agree with you. It's a stupid thing to complain about. It's got a fucking rating on it. Don't take the kids.
Yeah.
In the same way, parents who took their kids to the later Harry Potter films were like, they're so violent. What, did you not look at the rating, dickhead? Stop worrying. Just because you think it's a children's book doesn't mean it is.
Yeah.
But the problem they had back then was nowadays we can look at that and say, don't take your kids to a Batman film. It'll probably be dark.
Yeah, but
whereas back then, all you had was, come on, chum, we need to get there with our valid driver's license.
Yeah, well, I'd
The
be
Penguin didn't have a valid driver's license
didn't.
in this film.
There's another 66 joke that got in there and that I hate Tim Burton for even more for allowing it.
Oh, I missed that one.
Yeah, he when
he's
he's
controlling the
sticking around with the 25-cent slot car that he
50
makes
cent.
50-cent slot car,
Yeah.
he's like, man, I haven't even got a valid driver's license.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like little jokes
That's
like that.
also, I like that.
I mean, every time we've reviewed a film thus far, we've had a look at the trailer.
Yeah.
Right. Now, see, this is where I'm kind of curious. Are people just stupid in general?
The trailer for this doesn't look that dark.
Really?
No, the trailer for this
Does it
looks
actually say
Indiana
Batman
Jones
Returns
level of dark.
M? Does it say M written on it? M?
Oh, at the time, it would have come up at the theaters. You would have got the bumper beforehand saying, you know, whatever. In America, it would have been PG-13. Here, it would have been
M. Right?
M.
So
yeah, it would have been on the posters. They made them clear, but they weren't as clear back then. They were just the round circle with the M in it, not the big colour that they are now. But I would say it was like my dad knew I was going to see an M film.
Yeah,
I'll put it that way. And like, as I say, when we walked out, he was like, "Wow, that was darker than I thought it was going to be." But I mean, maybe it's because I've been desensitized to that shit a lot longer. Anyway, I'm naturally desensitized to it. I wasn't affected by it, but there were people who actually I can remember people asking for refunds and things like that because they were like, I took my kids to see this thinking it was Batman, and there's basically sex happening on the screen.
See, that's
and all
the
this
thing.
sort
I
of
mean,
shit.
this is where, for me, and this is sort of bridges away from it being an M-rated film.
Yeah,
this brings back for me responsibility on the parents to actually do some research.
But America, we're not responsible for ourselves. No, you're responsible for us.
I know, right? Sue everyone and just fuck the rest. So, like, to me, like, I was in the pharmacy probably about 8 months ago, and it stuck with me because it actually truly showed me how stupid some educated people were. The pharmacist, right, had a chat, waiting for my partner's script to be filled, and she was probably, say, 38. She's like, oh, you know, have you played video games? Because I'm wearing like a Call of Duty shirt. I'm like, yeah. Like,
no, I just like the apparel.
Yeah, I just like the apparel. And she goes, oh, I just bought my son Grand Theft Auto 5. I'm like, oh, how old is he? She's like, 10. I immediately bashed my head on the counter.
R-rated game.
Yeah. She goes, oh, but he was counting. She said it wasn't that bad. I said, well, if you don't consider drug dealing that bad, an opening scene where you get introduced to a character having anal sex with a bikie chick who wants meth, you talk to a Middle Eastern, what else do you do? You run drugs, kill cops, all that sort of stuff. She's like, oh, I should probably get rid of it. And I'm like, has he finished the game? Yeah. No point. Damage has been done.
Yeah.
So, to me, the onus, it
I love
doesn't
that
matter.
too. Like, I remember being a kid, of course you're going to be like, yeah, it's fine, because
Yeah.
you want it.
Yeah, I know. So there is a level of responsibility on the parents, and I'm talking like just in general. I mean, Braden, you've got kids, haven't you?
Yes.
Yes.
Did they watch this?
No,
Okay.
they weren't.
No, it's all right. I was just.
Now,
I didn't
here's
think
the
you
question:
said
Did you
it
actually
was.
make that call, or they weren't interested?
No, they weren't even home, so
Oh,
didn't
okay.
actually even think
So
about
Would you have let them watch it if they were?
that's the next question I was going to ask.
it. Probably would have. I mean, my kids watch things like Deep Blue Sea and Jaws and shit like that. They like that sort of stuff. So.
Okay, so you've got like more.
No wonder they love Batman 66. It's a shark.
So I mean, like comparatively, would you say like you would actually feel comfortable sitting down with your kids watching this film?
Yeah, I would. But I do with my kids because they know what's sort of right and wrong because it's what I teach them.
Yeah.
But,
That's the same thing. I think my dad looked at it of like, well, no matter what's on the screen, I know that I've educated this child to know that shit is not real.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah. See that? So that for me actually sort of affects the darkness of a film and stuff like that. It depends on what you're teaching. I'm not a parent, so I shouldn't really be saying this, but I've got nieces and nephews. So it depends on what you teach the kids, and if you let them go off to Fantasyland and play, you know, like my brother and I used to play wrestling, and he hit me with a chair. I paid for it with my right knee. My right knee's buggered. So you know, it depends on what you educate them with. So the level of darkness on that film, if I had a child of about 5, 6, I'd watch it with them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't leave them alone in a room. But if I took my child to go see that movie and that's what I got, I paid for it, I'd be like, well, I've got some explaining to do.
Yeah.
It's simple as that.
And that's, I think, what it was. I mean, it just put in perspective of people around that time, because I can remember around this sort of time, probably maybe say within, I didn't say 3 years of this time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's around the time I had a Super Nintendo. Either a Super Nintendo or PlayStation 1. I can't remember which one. Anyway, Killer Instinct came out.
Oh, yeah. I remember
and
that.
there were kids, like I had the game, so kids on the street would come over, we played at my house.
Yep.
And I'm talking me, I was under 13 at this point.
Yep.
Okay, the game's M-rated, but obviously my folks don't have a problem buying me fighting games. I didn't fight in the schoolyard. I was the punching bag in the schoolyard. The games are my way of actually getting to fight something.
I get
and
to
win.
be the winner. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I won for once. All right.
Yeah.
Nobody's wedging me. This is the greatest day ever.
Weekends to the schoolyard.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no.
So anyway, kids would come over and play. Anyway, one day, there were these two kids that lived on my street. Their dad came to my house and berated me because his kids had come over and asked me to play the game.
Yeah.
And I'm maybe 1 year older than them.
Yeah.
And he's like, you should be responsible in knowing that you can't let my kids play these games.
See, granted, for me, the 90s were very different. It was a lot safer time. Well, you know, in regards to stranger danger and stuff like that. But, I mean, some parents actually did try that with me.
Yeah.
And my dad was home and looked at them and went, what the hell?
Yeah,
You're
I
an
just said
adult.
the same thing. I'm like...
You're sending your children over to
I'm
my
like, they
son's
came
house.
to my house. They asked me to play it. Like, how am I supposed to know what you do and don't want
Yeah.
in
That's
my
the thing.
house?
I mean, that's just it. I mean, for me, it doesn't make much sense. I mean, if you've got a beef with it and you know your kids are going to go over there and that game is there, you just go, nah, sorry.
Yeah, or you say beforehand, hey, I don't want my kids playing this game.
Yeah, it was a phone call. It was back in the day where before mobiles.
Yeah.
Like, so you'd actually ring, someone would be home.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
someone was home, they'd pick up and you go, look, they're coming over, don't let them play the game.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not an
Especially since that's the reason.
Yeah.
Anyway, just that's off topic, but I guess that's the sensibilities of what people like back then. So I think they were a bit more fragile, and films like this did freak them out more.
I mean, that's just it. I mean, granted,
But it's Tim Burton. I mean, what like I know there
Beetlejuice,
hasn't been
for
heaps,
God's
but
sakes.
at this point you've theoretically had Beetlejuice, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Batman, and Edward Scissorhands.
Edward Scissorhands, for God's sakes, a man with scissors for hands.
You should know what's and
What's
like they're progressively getting darker in that list.
Yep.
So
That's the issue. Once again, Braden's gone very quiet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Braden's fallen asleep again. He's watching Batman Returns.
He's watching the special features with a 7-minute video clip that was just absolutely horrible.
Oh God,
Shot.
there's director's commentary with Tim Burton, and I'm tempted to listen to it just to see if it's 2 hours of him just verbally wanking himself off.
Basically, yeah.
I reckon it's going to be 2 hours of, and I chose this particular color because I feel it's symbolistic of Batman's inner plight.
Once again, this is his emo phase. Like you either die a emo or you live long enough to become a hipster. That's the general rule. Okay, so that's Tim. If you look at him now, he is the godfather of all hipsters.
Yep, and he makes films with the same three people.
Johnny Depp, Helena Bonham Carter, and who's the third one? Oh, no. Wait, that's Chris Nolan. Michael Caine and Chris Nolan now.
No, Michael Caine's got Chris Nolan and Christian Bale. Who's the other one for Tim Burton? It's a guy.
Not Matthew McConaughey.
No, I want to say Tim Roth, but that's not right.
No, he does. Last time I actually saw him, it was The Incredible
It's an
Hulk.
older guy. It's an older guy. Anyway, yeah, he has certain people that he always puts in his films.
Oh.
And he married Helena Bonham Carter, so I guess that...
What, Tim Burton?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I think that's why he puts her in. 2 paychecks, bro. 2 paychecks.
Jeez. It's probably the only way she earns money.
Either that or he's a fucking controlling, like, insecure prick. 'Cause he's like, no, only work on my films. I don't want you near Brad Pitt again. His abs frighten me. They're too nice.
I don't know. I reckon, to be honest, I think Stephen Amell's abs have overtaken Brad Pitt's.
I don't think Stephen Amell's got his abs like he used to anymore, because he said he doesn't want to do shirtless scenes in the show anymore. He's passed that over to Colton Hayes. So Colton Hayes, I think, is your new ab king until Brandon Roth takes his shirt off.
Superman versus Arsenal.
Be interesting to see whether Robbie Amell has Stephen Amell's stomach definition.
I've actually
This
seen...
has just become the weirdest podcast.
Yeah, I was about to say.
It's going weird. But I did see on Stephen Amell's Facebook that he actually gives his little brother shit because he can't grow a mo properly.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that.
I'm like, yeah. And there's like 50...
There's all these Movember memes or something like
Yeah,
that, and someone's written like on his upper lip, insert mustache here.
I love it.
Wow, we've actually had quite a long show, ladies and gentlemen.
I teased these boys a little bit earlier with a special
I
announcement.
completely forgot about this.
Special announcement to come at the end, and here it is. This film broke me. I can't do it anymore. This is going to be the final from the Batcave. We're not doing it anymore.
Adam and I had a conversation about it, Braden. We
can't do it. Can't do it.
All right.
No, like legitimately, it's done.
It's done. It's over. Just kidding. Just kidding. The truth is that we're actually going to, since we're following the cinema release.
Yep.
In the years they came out, the next film is not actually Batman Forever.
Oh, really?
The next film is Mask of the Phantasm. The
Oh,
Batman animated series
Yes.
film.
Thank God. Is that with who voices Batman?
Kevin Conroy. So I thought we'd take a break next week since we had a good week and then we had a couple of shitty weeks.
Yep.
And I thought before we get into... Because as much as I know we're going into Joel Schumacher territory, which is bad, at least we should be able to have more entertaining conversations about this was bad because of this, not this was bad because it was boring.
Yeah. See, I think what I'm really looking forward and hanging for is Kevin Conroy as Batman.
That's what you've got now
I
next
need
week.
that in my life. That and Mark Hamill as Joker.
I can't remember if the Joker's in
I'm pretty
Mask of
sure
the
he is.
Phantasm, but
he's in a very small part. He's not a main character because it's the
Phantasm.
Is he in a movie as Joker?
Mark Hamill.
Yeah, I thought he only did video games.
Oh no, video games, animated series.
Yeah, anything that Kevin Conroy is in, you can pretty much, well, except for this new game, I assume.
No, Mark Hamill. No, I think I don't think he's in Origins.
No, he's not in
Not in
Origins.
Origins. Arkham Knight. I don't think so because he's busy filming Star Wars 7.
But they haven't released the cast list for Arkham Knight.
And we've actually got to
wait,
assume
if it's a
that
cameo.
Joker will be in the next one.
Conroy is in the next one.
Yeah, I know Conroy's. What I'm saying is, they're not going to. If the Joker's dead, they're not going to be like, "Oh, Mark Hamill's in the cast."
Yeah, this is true.
If he comes back in the last 15 minutes of the thing. Plus, the other thing to consider about audio recording.
Yeah.
We're not in the same city as Braden.
Yeah, that's true.
So all you need to do is hook up the right equipment and go, okay, we want to record Joker's lines, and he can go, okay, Batman.
Yeah, and give him like 3 acres of space to walk around. And
So like, are you in a big empty room? Yes, I am.
I am ready. I'm ready.
So that's next week is Mask of the Phantasm, which should make for hopefully a more entertainingly upbeat podcast. I think this was entertaining just for, I guess, just how disappointing it was. We haven't really had something that we've had.
This has been a big flaccid penis.
Yeah, it's just this
you
is
go
just
to watch
disappointing.
and it's big.
And I think the problem is we had such a good week of TV that it hurt even more having a disappointing film to look at.
The thing is, we're going to always have that good week of TV because it's 3 shows that are fantastically written and just we love sensational.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just simple.
Absolutely.
Oh, side note, did you notice the Flash's uniform actually changed completely?
No.
It got blown up and it was the all red.
I knew that Cisco's first suit got blown up because it was his favourite suit.
If you have a look at the new Flash one, it actually has the yellow piping from the animated cartoon Flashpoint Paradox.
Nice.
It's very subtle, but there's a couple of close-ups. There's one of his hip, and you actually see the yellow piping.
I like that.
And it's just a very nice.
Keep an eye for that.
It's very nice. It's like you have to. It's really
Something to look
subtle,
out
but
for
I
this
was kind
week.
of questioning it, especially with the Man in the Yellow Suit coming up, the birth of the Flash. And there's another one. I forgot the other name for the next episode.
I forgot to mention in that Flash talk the thing he can do with his voice. I loved.
Yeah, that's
that
right.
was. I was like,
awesome.
that was so.
Joe's reaction to that was so funny. He was pissing himself.
Oh yeah, it was great. He just
And then
loses his
as he
mind.
left the scene, he's like, "Oh no, the voice thing just cracks me." It's like, "Oh god."
But
overacted, would you, Jesse?
But it was. I was like that. Of all the things you could do,
it's very smart.
That's so fucking genius because I had in the I know in the comics he does similar things, like he blurs his face similarly in the comics, but I was like, that's fucking genius. No voice modulator needed. No thing.
Just shakes his voice box.
What you can do because of your powers. I love it.
It's very cool.
I love it.
All right.
Well, so any other further thoughts before we leave? Anything else to say about Batman Returns?
No, don't buy it, people.
No, nothing for that.
Don't buy it. Just if you want to see it, just download it. It's not worth $8. I'm not kidding. Just don't.
Download it legally, of course. We wouldn't.
We don't condone that type of behaviour.
No, I don't. But honestly, if you're gonna pay, if you can pay like $2 for it on iTunes or however you download it, do that. Just do it with pocket change. Don't spend a $10 note on it. Just don't.
Don't buy it on a disc because you're not watching it more than once.
No.
Unless you're a massive Tim Burton fan. I think we've pissed off a lot of Tim Burton fans here today, and fuck them.
Well,
Go cry in the corner and cut yourself your emos.
Yeah. Like, to be honest, it's not one of those movies that I would actually pay to see. When I was a kid, I had beautiful memories of it, and now I'm sort of regretting doing this review.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. Well, that about wraps it up for us here tonight. Please do hit us up on Facebook or Twitter. And, of course, we're now available on iTunes.
Yeah.
We're there, yeah, on the iTunes. They finally approved us. So feel free to subscribe and download every episode we have. Please do give us feedback. And don't forget, you can email us at fromthebatcave.podcast@gmail.com. That's from the Batcave, all one word. The @ symbol, press the shift and then press 2. For those of you too stupid to know what the @ symbol is. I threw myself off there. From the Batcave.podcast@gmail.com. Send your emails, your questions, your feedback, whatever. Doesn't have to be Batman related. Just send us emails. We'll read them. I promise you. If I get one from penis enlargement, I'll read that. I don't give a fuck. We'll read the emails as well. So hit us up, give us feedback, and until next week, from myself, Adam Gerard, the incomparable Terry O'Neill,
See you later.
and the vigilante Braden Ahern.
Hey guys.
We'll see you next time.
And who are you?
I'm Batman. I'm Batman. I'm Batman. I'm Batman.
Yes, I'm Batman.
Telegram. I am Batman.
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. I'm Batman.
You sound like Cookie Monster.
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. I'm Batman. I'm Batman.
I'm thirsty. I'm hungry.
I'm Batman. I'm Batman. I'm Batman.
Darling, I don't have to answer to you. I'm Batman.
I'm totally Batman. Clearly, I am Batman.
I am Batman.
This has been a Cabana production.